Anyway, back on chapter 3.
At least that happened after we finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't in the middle.
Look, I got this whole thing still recording, so it's fine.
There's
Your
the
blooper
feature.
reels.
Great. Now my headphones are way too loud.
Yeah, just fix that real
Fix
quick.
them.
Okay, we're good. So we're on chapter 3.
Yeah.
I guess this is one that Will reads. So,
Yes.
Go.
It's real world now.
Tetsuya. Fuck.
Tetsuya.
You don't have to read the title of the whole thing again, just the chapter title.
Alright. Chapter 3. Prologue. The struggle to understand nothing. Back in the real world, Nomura watched with vested interest as the intern scrolled past a section labeled Prologue. Now she'd enter the meat of the story. As you can see, said Nomura, the dichotomy in this game between light and dark is now focused on the villains. All this time we've focused on the light, but never the darkness. What does darkness look like between these three individuals? One who wishes to understand the light, one filled with darkness, slowly corrupted by light, and one indifferent to all matters. These are all topics I'm deeply invested in. Right after this section, the screen showed Kingdom Hearts 3.9 in big, bold letters. A callback to the introduction of Kingdom Hearts 3, and a signifier that the true story began from this point onward. After their hard battle, Xemnas would congratulate the duo, say that Draken is getting close to discovering the one who represents the light, and grant them their new orders, joining them on their next mission as a show of good faith. The subtle writing at work here intrigued Nomura the most. He planted a small seed of foreshadowing in this scene, implying that the one who represented light was actually Draken the entire time. Did she notice? Did she absorb his story to heart as she read it? He looked upon her face, only for boredom to fill his eyes. She scrolled and scrolled, never commenting on a single plot point, or build-up, or foreshadowing. Her eyes were dull, lifeless. Drool dribbled down her face. She read with her eyes, but she didn't see the story. She had fallen under his spell like so many others. She'd never be the same, no longer whole. She fell for his devil magic. This was his curse to bear. His utterly unparalleled genius meant he could never find anyone to appreciate his writing for what it was. This person didn't deserve to understand his work. If her mind broke at the intro sequence, she had no hope of piecing together the rest of the story, let alone the Kingdom Hearts 4.1 Rewind DLC story pack that'd tie it all together.
I didn't see that mind break tag in here.
A reader who consumed without comprehending wasn't worth his time, especially if they only consumed cock.
It's not that kind of fic.
I fucking wish.
Safe for work. Come on, guys.
He'd allow this intern to continue reading, and fill her brain with information she didn't digest before becoming yet another face in the crowd, yet another employee in the company, yet another liability to the human race. Nomura exited the room, entered a free world once more, and paused when he saw the soldiers aiming guns at his head. Their hands shook, legs quaked, fingers twitched. One wrong move and they'd fire. But he cared not for them. He walked forward down the hall, and the soldiers, too afraid of his power, separated like the Red Sea and allowed him to pass. A thick glass window replaced an entire wall and allowed Nomura to view the world outside. A world not seen for an entire decade. A thick, green layer of smog covered the city. Citizens wandered with masks as if there was no danger present. The sky had changed from a beautiful blue to a sickening red while the sun set. He knew no sight uglier than this. He pressed a hand to the glass, content with phasing through it and falling down forever, until he fell upwards and landed in heaven where he belonged. He knew the state of his work. He knew his job. He needed to make Kingdom Hearts 4. It would be incomprehensible to many. Critics would laud it for being too far of a divergence from the formula. People would hate it. People would hate him. And in his heart of hearts, he truly believed that his game had the potential to save the world. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Fucking Avatar theme.
Chapter 4. Chapter 1. Still, the gods comprehend nothing. Part 1. What?
Tetsuya Nomura returned to his prison cell in peace. Unfortunately, during his 10-year imprisonment, his house had been renovated, sold off to a mysterious benefactor who hadn't resided there in eons. Thus, he had no other home. The bed, while comfortable, did nothing to tempt sleep. He needed to rest no longer. He had work to do. Which is why he spent all of his free time reading American comic books. Since the acquisition of Marvel, day in, day out, the fans demanded to see their favorite heroes featured in the game. He considered all the options. An Incredible Hulk summon, an Iron Man Keyblade, a Captain America shield for Goofy, Doctor Strange apparel for Donald. It all added up, and it all proved incredibly boring. No matter how much he wrote such possibilities, the gnawing feeling in his brain never escaped. He felt no empathy for Sora. He cared not how his story concluded. No, the villains were far more interesting to him. Their inner turmoil provided the perfect melodrama to the series. If no one would root for the villains, then he alone would stand in their corner. Thus, his intentions changed. Why limit himself to only Marvel? DC also had a reputable source of comics to draw from. Like Moon Knight! And further still... That's not true, by the way. Moon Knight is Marvel.
Shut up.
Further still, limiting oneself to mainstream media only showed their lack of taste. He drew inspiration from all sorts of comics, drafting plans for characters from all walks of life. He didn't pick the characters people wanted to see. He picked characters that had fit best with the story he intended on telling. It felt like the days of Young, where he'd spent his time sifting through the newest issues of Weekly Shonen Jump, perusing what had happened next on Ichigo's adventures, or whether Medaka would succeed on her quest. Except now he had to do this as his job, to craft the ideal story. Their works were the building blocks for his ultimate masterpiece. A phone alarm forced him to close his issue of Mighty Avengers, number 7, 2014. He had a meeting with the higher-ups of the company. He passed by Nishizono the intern, still idly reading through his work. She had reached the halfway point, yet still her eyes remained unblinking. Drool ran down her mouth. Her body hunched, her soul shattered. He'd allow her to reside here until she finished, then banish her from the company when some facsimile of her personality returned. 2 soldiers escorted him out of his room onto the elevator, which ascended past the 100th floor all the way up to the penthouse. They nervously bowed to him as he left, headed for his destination. As the elevator closed behind him, he grimaced upon seeing the disgusting decor of the room around him. The walls and floors were created out of solid emeralds. The green of the gem burned into his retina as it filled his vision everywhere he looked. Exotic carpets, lion skins, trophies from athletic competitions, a peacock in a cage, a statue of a weeping angel expelling water into a fountain, a 200-inch television hooked up to the latest game consoles, a clock of Tifa Lockhart, her fist as the minute and hour hands, and a cat poster. Hang in there! The room was filled to the brim with useless displays of wealth and that clashed with each other. as if a blind person was given an infinite budget to create their dream home. The owner of said room fared just as miserably in the fashion department. Nomura sat in front of a relatively tiny table, on account of having no space to fit anything else, with thrones for chairs. His business partner sat across from him. His hair, now grayed with age, had an unnatural, clay-like appearance, as far too much pomade had been used to slick it backwards. His skin sagged down his face, barely held together, a sign this man lived far too long. Buttons of solid gold adorned his similarly white suit. His tie was marked with the logo of an American company, Supreme. His complexion, his sunglasses, his earrings, all a mixture of snow white and gold. 10 silver rings, bedazzled in diamonds, were on each finger, all depicting the protagonist of various Final Fantasy games. In order from left to right: Cloud, Squall, Titus, Lightning, and Noctis on the left. Furion, Cecile, Bartz, Zidane, and Clive on the right. The identity of this man? Yosuke Matsuda, the CEO of Square Enix Japan, Nomura's boss, the one who tethered him to this world. What's up, Nomura-san? I hope you're having a fabutastic day. Now then, let's talk business, because I love to talk business. Greed had corrupted this man Nomura once called a friend. Deep down, a feeling of sorrow welled up within him. I'd rather not, said Nomura. Now, Nomura-san, this meeting isn't trouble. It's not! Trust me! Why don't you trust me? You trust me, don't you? You see, just a teensy tiny little issue, a minuscule one, you'd never notice it. I genuinely had to pull out a magnifying glass for it. Yosuke pulled out his phone, tapped on the screen a few times, and produced an image, the cover of the game. His 3 signature characters, Xemnas, Lord Drakon, and Unknown Jakazure, the version with clothes on, were all front and center. A massive Mickey Mouse insignia behind them all. The logo for Kingdom Hearts 4 covered the top of the screen. Beneath it, the tagline, Unleash the power of a villain. So that's what they went with? It mattered not to him. The cover hardly ever represented what was held within the work. Right here, do you see it? Nomura squinted, unable to discern where the issue lied, until Yosuke generously moved his thumb, covering the corner of the screen. The rating of the game, 17+, M for mature. Now, Nomura, I know we take a lot of deliberations to allow you to do your work, but think about the sales! We'll completely lose the child market! I know you think children are too young to understand the story, but they don't care! Those brats will play because Mr. Donald D. Duck is in the game! It seems he didn't understand whatsoever the choice for such a risky move. He needed to inform him immediately, lest he reverse this decision. Do you know what the role of a creator is? Asked Nomura. To make art so they can sell it and make lots of money, said Yosuke. After all, if you're not getting paid, you can't make more art. It means no one cares. That's, as they say in the States, no bueno. The role of a creator is to die, said Nomura. The creator being alive troubles the path of the art. There is no greater joy for an artist than to perish upon the completion of their work, knowing full well that in their grave the masses will speculate and draw their own conclusion from what is in front of them. They will learn for themselves the meaning of this rating. They will not be blind sheep following the words I speak. Please, Mr. Matsuda, I beg of you, allow me to die for Kingdom Hearts 4. But Nomura-san, that'd be an issue. Yosuke wagged a finger to emphasize each word. He slid a piece of paper across the desk. The mere sight of it caused Nomura to recoil in disgust. Gomina sorry, but you can't pass on just yet. You're under contract. And so he was. And so he didn't die. Now then, ignoring your little transgression, what do you have to show little old me today? Asked Yosuke. It'll take a lot to convince the company about the rating change. Do you have footage for me? He pushed his fingers together in a cottish manner. Nomura grunted, a perfect demonstration of his feelings. Ugh. A grunt, he found, was the ideal expression of emotion. Anger, pain, vengeance, sorrow. To convey all of these, a mere grunt sufficed. From his pocket, Nomura produced a disc. Its surface blank except for E3 demo written in marker. This is what we shall show the masses, said Nomura. The idealization of my greatest desire. Nice! Very, very good! Mucho excelente! Yosuke eyed the disc in a futile attempt to discern its contents without playing it. What's inside? Lots of movies came out while you were gone. Did you get caught up? The people demand the latest, greatest Disney movies to get featured, regardless of quality. Nomura simply pointed upwards. There is no Kingdom Hearts without this world. The people will have to suppress their desires, for we are to explore the location I yearn for more than any place else. The heavens above us all. The world of the clouds. The place I will enter once this project is done.
Wow. Wow.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I would like to point out that Donald Duck's middle name is Fauntleroy, not with a D. It's an F.
Okay.
That's the. I think that's kind of the point because Yosuke is so fucking out of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's making the ASMR noises?
What?
That was my water noise. My bad.
Oh my god.
Gross.
Okay. Sorry. I thought that was.
Drinks it a very specific way every time.
Gross.
Wow.
What do you want from me? I'm drinking from a bottle.
Silently.
Tetsuya Nomura's Devil Magic, Chapter 5, Chapter 1. Still, the gods comprehend nothing. Part 2. Okay. These chapter titles are just getting to me.
I'm pretty sure they're. Yeah.
A portal opened in the world that never was. Out stepped two people, Lord Draken, former Power Ranger and soon-to-be Universal Dictator. To his left, Nanan Jakazure, an annoying woman in her own right, but someone who proved her worth as a powerful ally. If she changed that attitude of hers, she might have a place among his army in the future. In front of them both, a chair ascended into the sky. It held one person adorned in a black coat that covered his entire body, face included. Next to him were 12 other seats. Seats for individuals no longer present,
Xemnas.
said Draken.
I come bearing the power of a princess, one who held dominion over the power of light. Is this enough for you to be satisfied?
The man didn't respond. He relished in the silence, allowing it to pass, allowed the anger to well up inside Draken for having his time wasted. Think he's sleeping? Asked Nanan.
I demand an answer.
Said Draken.
Sense Dragon.
Can you say that again, please?
No.
Yeah,
It didn't pick up like at
I
all.
just heard
What do you mean?
Sense Dracon. That's what I heard.
Patience, Dragon.
Said Xemnas.
I am merely enjoying the moment, considering which steps to take going forward.
I already know what we must do next.
Said Draken.
Here I am, working with you, planning my universal conquest, and you won't even allow us to see your face. I will not take such disrespect.
Xemnas shifted in his seat, leaned forward to further his presence in the eyes of his two subordinates.
Very well. I shall allow you to see me, but in return you must answer a simple Cool question.
Cam, it's not picking up at all.
I
Yeah,
don't
you're like
know.
barely audible.
Wait, hold on.
Just speak louder, you coward!
I can't.
Then
Yes, you
why did you
can.
want to be Zemnis if you can't speak loudly?
Because it's my mic's fault.
It is not your mic's fault. You were just mumbling.
Just
I've-
put your
I've
microphone
heard you
inside
yell
of
at
your
Chris
throat.
when we played X.
It's right here.
There you go. That's perfect. Just keep it right there.
That's how I was talking.
No, you weren't. Alright, let's just
Hold
go.
on. Wait, something. I thought I fixed this.
It's not your mic. You're very quiet.
It's just you.
There is no mic that can pick you up.
You're too quiet.
He's not like projecting his voice. His voice goes like 3 inches away from his face and then it's gone. It's being like silenced by air. Like, normally it takes like cushioning and stuff to silence people's voices, but Cam's like so little like projection in his voice that it stops like 3 inches in front of him. It like can't reach the mic.
Come on.
Actually, I wonder. How about now?
What did you do?
I removed the pop filter.
It's
Oh, well, that works.
worse.
Probably.
It sounds worse. Like we can hear you, but
It's
we can't
it's
hear what
literally
you're
the same for
saying.
me.
Well,
It's just the same. Just put the
It's
mic
more
down your throat.
crispy. So yeah, don't put it back on.
Like I can hear you better, but I can't hear what you're saying at all.
It's jarbled.
Where did I go wrong?
Oh my god. Why did you pick the character that has the loudest voice, Cam?
Didn't you say he should be? I'm pretty sure you told him to be Zemnis.
No, he chose that on his own.
I
Mm.
also said he should be Zemnis.
Oh yeah, that was Will.
But he decided he wanted to be Zemnis earlier.
We forced him to be Zemnis the first time.
Oh my god.
I think he died.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Kenny's dead.
you okay over there? Oh no. Oh no
Oh,
no.
I gotta turn Will down.
what?
There we go.
Okay. So
Okay.
you
Let
ready?
me charge it. Let me try this. Wait,
Oh
how
my
much
God.
can you hear now?
That sounds really bad.
I thought so. Hold on.
What did you do?
It changed it from voice recognition to just whatever on Discord.
Just
here's the thing,
on?
huh?
Yeah.
Slightly works a little, I guess.
Just leave it.
What do you mean it sounds bad?
That's just his voice.
Quality wise, it's louder, but the quality is just shit.
Wacky.
There's a little bit of feedback for some reason. I think that's the problem.
Maybe.
It's voice recognition, so it's picking up everything else.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, it's got feedback. That's what makes it sound bad.
Alright. So
You just dropped like 30 decibels, by the way.
Yeah, messing with the settings.
oh my gosh.
Well,
More technical issues.
Cam, don't you have a real microphone that's like big and tall?
Together. I'm pretty
Huh?
sure it sounds worse than this.
I think that's kinda hard.
Oof.
Like your microphone before sounded alright. You were just really quiet. I think you weren't talking loud.
He's obviously not talking loudly. He doesn't want to be heard.
Exactly.
But you're Zemnis. You have like the most chill lines.
You
It's-
have to
you're
talk
not-
loudly.
Dude, it's not like Nanan's lines that are really like obnoxious, or Draken's lines that are like way over the top. Fucking
My dad
Zemnis's
is
lines
two
are
walls away from me and can hear everything I'm saying.
yeah.
Okay?
Zemnis is like philosophical. Nobody's gonna question what you're reading.
yeah.
You could just say like some philosopher's name.
Exactly what they question.
You'd be like, why are you reading Edgar Allan Poe, you weirdo? Who else is he voicing? Like, besides
Mickey
Zemnis?
Mouse. Cam, if you're not ready in
Can you
like
hear me now?
Cam, if you're not ready in a couple minutes, I will be Zemnis. I will take it from you.
I could be Semnis.
No.
Oh.
Okay, what just happened now?
What did
I
you
get
Oh, yeah,
louder.
that'd be kind
I'm
of
threatening to
confusing
take
for
your
me.
role
You're
if
right.
you don't.
Anything changed?
I think it's louder.
Uh,
Read a line!
yeah, just read your line. We'll see if it works.
Baba. Where were we?
The man
In
didn't
the world.
respond. He relished in the silence, allowed it to pass, allowed the anger to well up inside of Draken for having his time wasted. Think he's sleeping? Asked Nanan.
Just way before.
Yeah, we were down
Okay,
lower
well,
a
I'm
bit.
sorry. I just started where what would be a good starting point.
I demand an answer! It was like 3 lines before. She was
Yeah,
right at it.
we're at his hands reached for his hood or
Okay,
something
well,
like that.
I couldn't hear any of what Cameron said, so I thought we would just redo it.
Yeah, let's just
Alright,
redo
let's
the
just
whole
redo
thing.
it. Fuck it. Alright. From the top.
Oh my god.
The man didn't respond. He relished in the silence.
Allowed
Allowed
it
it to pass.
Allowed the anger to well up inside of Draken for having his time wasted. Think he's sleeping? Asked Nanan.
I demand answers.
Said Draken.
And Spraga.
Oh my god!
What?
Oh my god.
That was worse.
That was so bad.
We just heard the end of patience. Murder.
Doesn't pick me up when I start talking.
Patience, Draken, said Zemnis.
Patience.
I am merely enjoying the moment, considering which steps to take going forward,
I already know what we must do next.
said Draken.
Here I am, working with you, planning my universal conquest, and you won't even allow us to see your face. I will not take such disrespect.
Zemnis shifted in his seat, leaned forward to further his presence in the eyes of his 2 subordinates. Very well. I shall allow you to see me, but in return you must answer a simple question. His hands reached for his hoods, throwing it back to reveal his identity. His tan skin, perfectly clear of any imperfections, his face chiseled as if it was designed by a sculptor. Spiky white hair, piercing yellow eyes. From appearance alone, Zemnis came off as a man with great power. In this world, there are only 2 constants. Life is a coin, you see. On one half of the coin, we have those who can, those who have the capabilities of moving the world. On the other, those who can't, those who are powerless to take action. Do you know which side we are on?
Surely the former. There is no force in the universe that can stop me once I am unleashed.
Oh, great, said Anon. You've got him going on another big speech again. Whoopee. We are nothing, said Zemnis. We reside on neither side. Rather, we rest on the edge of the coin, live among the ridges, never to change anything, and never able to sit by as idle observers. Tell me, is that any way to live?
My one goal in
That's
life.
still Zemnis. That's still
Oh
Zemnis.
shit. Whoops.
My one goal in life is to pick a side, regardless of which side it is. There is no positive. There is no negative. There only is. Draken clung desperately to every word. He intended on ruling on his own, using Zemnis as a springboard to further ambitions. But, truthfully, Zemnis spoke to his heart. Never had he met someone who spoke in such a philosophical manner, someone who he wanted to understand. His unnatural charisma sent shivers down his spine,
Then I shall assure you,
said Draken.
we shall move on to the side of conquerors. We shall move the world as long as my demands are met.
Oh, said Xemnas, before me lies the one who shall rule over the light, despite being an individual composed of darkness. What could this man possibly demand from myself?
I demand to slay the gods. This power, while useful, has allowed another princess, the god of princesses, to reside in my head. One who constantly speaks of goodwill. I must seek them out. I must prove I am more than any god, to take their power for my own. That is the only way to accomplish my goals.
Very well. I shall allow such an excursion. It's the least I can do for my fellow companions. He didn't expect such a fast response. For once in his life, he was allowed to take action. When his other half, Tommy Oliver, demanded Zordon take further steps in furthering good, he was told to wait for better days when evil would be snuffed out. When he worked with Rita Repulsa, demanded to learn how to control the power of darknesses to create a better world, he was told to wait until she had conquered it. He waited and waited for eons until his body withered away and the last vestiges of life left him, and those days never came. But with Xemnas, he had to wait no longer. Xemnas was a man of action, a man who didn't wait, a man who the world waited on.
Then, where shall we go?
Asked Draken. I know of a place where these gods you desire lay dormant, rarely helping the needs of those they rule over. Conversely, one of the chosen 5 will also be found in this location. Consider this a useful union of our abilities. We will gain something out of this exchange, will we not? Tell me, are you familiar with a small town called Thebes? Thebes? The Babes? Thebes. It's Greek. I don't.
Thebes.
The babes.
The Babes. Dibs.
Thebinus.
The birds. Okay.
I think I fixed something.
Oh,
You think you fixed
bad.
it?
I think. I don't know.
It sounds better now.
Alright, say Thebes, quick.
Thebes.
Perfect.
It
Beautiful.
works.
Well, that's better.
I just factory reset all my sound settings.
Rad. That works.
No, you just gotta talk loudly.
Yeah,
No.
just speak up. Like,
All right. So goals for next year. New Year's resolutions. Oh, what the fuck?
uh-oh.
New Year's resolutions. Get Melinda to eat soft food. And
No,
Cam to
I refuse. I am not eating gum.
I will make you a flan,
I can eat
and you
flan.
will eat it. Yes, you
No,
can.
but that's the point. If he refuses to talk loud and you refuse to eat
No, I don't
soft
refuse
food,
to. It triggers my gag reflex, so I literally throw up.
Right, but you can
It's
train.
it's
your
not
gag
something I can
reflex.
train out of. Believe me, we had a science experiment in high school where we all had to chew gum, and I vomited 3 times.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you had to. You weren't training. You were forced to.
Like I tried, like I chose to be the gum chewer in my group, and I threw up. I was like, I can do it, and then I vomited, and it was awful.
But you don't just start like immediately with gum. You like work your way up to it.
But like,
So
like
if we put them gummies in a macaron,
Hmm.
You
okay,
eat slightly softer and softer stuff until it seems normal.
I can eat scrambled
Well, no, it's
eggs.
not
That took me
soft,
years to
it's
be able to
smooth.
do.
Which is my exact point. It means you can train
But I
it
still
enough
like
to eat
I don't
scrambled
like
eggs.
Jello enough to eat it. Like
That's
I
understandable.
mean, yeah.
so, Jello and gum are like the only things I'm really missing out on.
Are you sure?
Like
What about like mushrooms or something?
I don't
Or,
like
Those
mushrooms.
are really soft though.
What about noodles?
They're I can eat noodles, but I
That's a
can't eat
different
mushrooms
texture.
because they're like super smooth.
Mushrooms, I
Hmm.
think, are gross anyway.
They're
Unless
smooth,
they're like.
and I don't like the
toasty.
flavor enough. Like if
They're
they're,
good
if they're
wax.
cooked in a certain way, I can eat them. Let's continue the fic.
Yes.
Let's continue.
There was a line break.
Portal's
Yeah,
working.
but we don't have enough time.
We're trying to get past.
Yeah,
I
we're
want to get
trying
to the
to
Mickey Mouse
to get
distorted
the
arc.
bit.
Come on, guys.
We only get 2 hours till the live letter.
What? You have two? What's happening in 2
What?
hours?
I explained this earlier.
No, you
Less
didn't.
than 2 hours.
Yeah, I did.
The Nintendo, not Nintendo, the Square Enix live letter for Final Fantasy XIV.
No.
What?
You can just
Cam,
watch it
come
later.
on, come on.
Which I've been playing the entire time.
What?
No
So that's
wonder your
why.
microphone can't pick you up.
That doesn't mean anything.
All right. Well, I'm still gonna read. Let's go.
All right, let's just go.
Okay. Portals were convenient. When on the side of light, Draken needed to ride a Zord to survive the deep reaches of space. Trips took hours, even days at times. When he needed to save another, this wasted time led to fatal errors. The darkness allowed you to be anywhere at any time, a mere thought of where you wished to be, and poof, you'd arrive there instantly. It made one wonder the benefits of doing the right thing, in quotation marks. Nanan skipped out of the portal first. She took the lead in case any improper Philistines intruded on them. She gave them a quick smack of her baton and knocked them out before they even saw the others. Surprisingly, Xemnas joined them on the trip. He expounded on and on and on and on about how the only way to gain respect is to work with your fellow man. If one struggled in turmoil with their companions, they'd strengthen the bond between the entire group or something. The city of Thebes mattered not to their grand quest,
Nanon.
said Draken.
This is a personal quest between myself and Xemnas. Why have you elected to come with us? Hopefully not to sow chaos.
Oh, please, like I care, said Nanan. It beats house-sitting that castle, that's all. I can't let you two boys have all the fun.
When in Greece.
Past the Greek city, lost to time, stood Mount Olympus, a city of clouds where all the gods resided to watch down upon the mortals. The mountain itself stood unguarded, allowing the trio to step foot into their realm. The gods certainly viewed the world differently. Their clouds were solid, yet malleable. As if walking through a pile of sand, if they stood still too long, they might have sunk, with no threat to their lives if they continued to move. Hey, I thought you said some important bozo was up here, said Nanan. I can't even find birds up here. Are we looking for a bird? Not a bird, said Xemnas, but your answer may lie in the division between sky and land. Draken and Anan both turned their eyes to the sky, confused at the sight before them. A fireball descended from outer space, heading closer and closer. A meteor? No. As it approached, they made it out its shape. A gummy ship, a vessel exclusively used by the warriors of light, those who fought for the side of good. Barreling down at 900 miles an hour, gravity took its course and the ship had no option but to crash. Crash being a generous term. At a glance, the ship had no wings. Its front cone broke in two and it was currently ablaze. But when it impacted with the clouds, it merely made a soft thud and stopped moving. Two passengers exited the vehicle. The first, a tall woman in a skin-tight white bodysuit, one that covered her from head to toe. The second...
It seems the the Lantern Corps are onto us.
With a green blazer jacket, a man who had all the stereotypical characteristics of a jock looked annoyed at the outcome of the ride. Many branches of heroes opened after Sora disappeared from the world. Desperate for a new chosen one, they drew on all sources of power to combat darkness. Aliens in a far-off distant planet learned how to use the light to create physical constructs that were as effective as keyblades when it came to dispelling evil. These weapons, in the form of a ring, went out to the most heroic individuals across the multiverse. "And that's why I never let a woman drive," said the man in green. "Though they may have chosen wrong from time to time. You're the one who asked for a ride," said the woman. "Yeah, and you crashed it into a cloud! A cloud!" The trio of villains watched this unfold and promptly ignored it to keep walking towards their destination. They had no time for fools. Unfortunately, those same fools quickly realized their targets were escaping. "Get back here!" The woman crawled on all fours and dashed forward as if she were a real jungle animal and intercepted them. The man in green elected to simply fly over to them as it required less effort. "I am Ava Ayala, the White Tiger, warrior on the side of light," she said. We know what you've all done. Luckily for us, we picked up your enemy. Oh my god, I'm sorry. We know what you've all done. Luckily for us, we picked up on your energy signatures while flying by this world. A happenstance encounter. Those were the ones Xemnas spoke of, and he knew they'd arrive? This only added intrigue to the man. What did he know? And how did he know it?
It seems word of my deeds travels fast then,
said Draken. Oh, I'm not here for you, said White Tiger. No, you will pay for your crimes, but you're only the second priority. With a shaky hand, she pointed a finger directly at her true target. Xemnas, she shouted. I'm here to pay back what you did to my family. Xemnas showed no reaction to the proclamation. He merely watched the two of them in front of him, interested in their next move. We should probably still catch the other two, though, said the green man. Name's Guy Gardner. Memorize it so you know who beat you. The other baddies will be impressed. Hold on, said Nanan. Yeah, I get it. You're all here to stop the bad guys. Real interesting. Definitely not yawning over here. But isn't White Tiger supposed to be, a guy? A real pile of muscles and not a shrimp? My brother. White Tiger paused to compose herself. He was deemed unfit to perform his duties after what Xemnas did to him. I have taken up the mantle in his place. Oh, so he got scared that his poor widow sister needed to protect him. A sinister grin grew on Nanan's face. Maybe next you can change his little diapers or tuck him in for nap time. Drop her, said Ava. Are you sure? Asked Guy. Because the drop might kill her. Not that it'd eat away at me, but we gotta have to try being the good guys and drop her, she demanded. Alright, sheesh, yada yada. Last time I ever take orders from a woman, I swear. Jesus. A green anchor tied itself around Nanan's ankle. 1 minute she was among the clouds, the next she fell through them. Her scream echoed around the mountaintop. After a few seconds, the noise disappeared.
That made it better because it cut out, so that was even more accurate.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
Jeez.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit too high-pitched.
Sorry, I was trying to...
no, it's good. That's good. That's a feature.
Guy looked at the crowd in front of him, two villains, and a pissed-off woman. I'm gonna go make sure she's, not dead, not ditching. I'll be back, eventually. He jumped through the same hole he created. All present knew he'd never return.
If we're quite through with this,
Said Draken.
I will commend you for putting that annoying woman through a bit of torment. However, I am in the middle of a grand mission. I have no time for foolhardy heroes.
Not on my watch, said White Tiger. She crouched down, prepared to dash forward and take him down in one strike. But she didn't move an inch. Thick white vines made out of corrupted energy ensnared her ankle, preventing her from taking a single step. Go, said Xemnas. The vines emanated from the sleeve of his coat. You desire an audience with the gods. This woman desires an audience with myself. On this day, we shall both attain what we desire. Is that not right? White Tiger grunted. She clawed at the vines, unable to destroy them. With a nod, Draken continued onward, past the two to reach the top of the mountains. The gods' time drew near. All right, give me a sec to sip some kombucha at this line break.
Get those good kombucha juices.
Is that really her accent?
I have no idea.
No, she's from Africa. I'm 99% sure that's not her accent.
Well, I hate it.
Close enough. It's annoying. That's the point.
I was trying to go for Southern Belle.
Well, you're too far south.
Oh, shucks.
No, it's very Southern Belle.
It's
It just
good.
depends on, what part of the South.
I'm from the deep
Yeah.
south.
South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
I'm almost as south as you can go.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Hey, there's...
So it
Well,
works,
it's not.
right?
What everybody say there was not.
I have no idea what her voice sounds like, and I don't care to look it up. So I just went
I'm
with...
Oh, no.
pretty sure
This is better.
she's from, Central Africa.
Okay, well, she's from Central South Africa.
Central,
she's
South
from
Africa.
the South. That's all that matters.
South part.
South. And that's it. Nothing else.
One sec.
Yes?
Oh boy.
What?
What
The
are you
pulled pork is
reading?
ready.
I told you.
The pulled
Tetsuya
pork.
Alright, thank you.
I like that her mic is like in a bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, I put it in my hand.
Is
Yeah,
the
alright.
pork ready?
Yeah, it's ready, but
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
finish the chapter before I get.
Alright, yeah,
I
we're
the
almost
next
done.
chapter
We're like,
What
will-
the?
I'm
We're
pretty sure-
like less than halfway with this chapter. This is a
Yeah.
long
no,
one.
we're
It's
like
okay.
halfway.
Yeah, okay.
It
If we can.
stops after. Wait, I don't know.
Just,
Okay,
just
let me
keep
just.
going, keep going.
Okay. Terminal velocity. At around 200 miles per hour, a human body's speed reached its peak. After that, they'd stay at that speed until they hit the ground. Nanan shot past that speed and kept on going. The anchor tied to her made out of solidified light stung against her skin. While not a being of pure darkness like Xemnas and Draken, she did give up some semblance of her true body after a certain incident. Thus, light in certain doses had the potential to be fatal. Not that it mattered, since the pressing issue at the moment was gravity. First, she fell through a layer of clouds. Since clouds were mostly water vapor, nothing much happened. Her face and hair were soaked, a little frizzled, but a quick trip to the salon fixed that. The next step hurt a bit more. She fell hundreds of meters back down the mountain and into the city of Thebes. Thebes. How's it pronounced?
Thebes, it's just Thebes.
Thebes. Citizens scrambled away at the sight of the woman screaming. Citizens scrambled away at the sight of a woman screaming, descending from the sky, unable to predict her trajectory. The house beneath her, made of stone and wood and some semblance of building materials, exploded in a heap as Nanan shot through the roof. She didn't land on the floor. She bore through the ground. Further and further, the pain of digging through millions of tons of rubble feet first shot through her body, and she kept going even further, past dinosaur fossils and ancient amber, until finally she stopped. Then she realized that she was in hell. Usually depictions of hell made it appear red, lots of red and burning fire and torture. Not here, though. A dull bluish gray permeated every corner of this place, the only thing to break it up being the green flame torches littered everywhere for visionary aid. She didn't even know she was in hell until she saw the sign. "Welcome to hell. Gift shop 5 miles ahead." Now that she looked, the signs of hell were quite clear. Far off in the distance, she saw the souls of the damned struggling in turmoil. One man pushed a rock up a hill, only for it to fall back down. Another cried out about his mother, screaming obscenities as he gouged out his eyes, only for them to return. A cat made puns to itself. No one to laugh at its jokes. She needed to leave as fast as possible. From the sky, Guy Gardner came through a conveniently placed Nanan-shaped hole, allowing him to enter without any issues. "Oh hey, you're alive," he said. "Sweet." Then, using all of his brain power, he thought about that for a moment. "Well, I guess that means I have to beat you up more. No hard feelings. I'd try to get your number otherwise." Nanan nearly shattered her teeth from how hard she clenched her jaw. She held back all the things she wanted to say. It'd take too long if she did. She stood up, twirled her baton, and aimed it right at her opponent. "Prepared to be destroyed in a battle quite jauntily." "That's not a real word." "Well, it is so." "Nope, you definitely made it up." Tired of the witty, unwitty, in Guy's case, back and forth banner, Nanan channeled energy into her outfit until it completely transformed. Her white conductor uniform disappeared, stripping her down to her bare body before her outfit practically regrew on her skin. The fabric binding to the clothes together wrapped around her, eliciting a whistle from Guy, "Ooh," which she promptly ignored. White became red. White became red. Black became gold. Skirts became spats. Length became frills. She took on a more regal appearance, no longer appearing as the conductor of a high school band, but rather the lead operator of a high-class orchestra. 4 dozen same-faced ladies appeared out of nowhere, out of rocks and crevices, and a few riding on a vicious 3-headed dog, each with a piece of scrap metal and wrenches as hammers as they connected screws and bolts and put slot A into slot B, then pulled out cans of pretty pink spray paint and worked on their masterpiece, creating a 20-foot-tall speaker for Nanan to stand on, asserting her authority on all she looked down upon. A cable extended from the machine, plugged itself into an outlet installed in a wall of a bedrock. It's a good thing we're... Oh, God. It's a good thing we're already in hell, because it means you won't have to travel far. Nanon flipped a switch on her stereo. A deep, reverberating bass sounded through the cramped air.
This is the second time you called it a bass! A deep, reverberating bass with its
I mean, it is
giant
spelled that
mouth
way.
hung open!
To be fair.
Okay, let me start again.
They're the
It's spelled
same
like
word,
bass,
but
it's the
just
same.
pronounced.
Nanon flipped a switch on her stereo. A deep, reverberating bass
There you go. Alright, keep going.
sounded through the cramped arena, bounced off the walls, and shattered stone as it traveled. A physical manifestation of sound as an attack honed in on Guy Gardner to liquefy his organs with one blast. In response, he used his ring to make green earplugs. It didn't do much. Guy tumbled along the floor, those dumb muscles of his tanking the blow. He jumped twice, 3 times to reach eye level with Nanon, dusted off his uniform, and created a green missile with his ring. It shot towards Nanon, 10 feet from her face. She activated her speaker again. The missile fell to the floor with a thunk. Thunk! Missing its target completely. Her stereo powered off in return. I was using that! I was using that, they both said.
Excuse me! Terribly sorry. I think you two might be lost.
Said a voice. Nanon looked over to see the ugliest man she'd witnessed in her life. A 7-foot-tall caricature of a human, completely blue, with a pin-shaped head wearing nothing but a blue toga. His head was on fire, his nose extended far too long.
Oh, come on. You've heard of me, right? Hades, Lord of the Underworld, Eternal Torture, ring any bells?
You think I've read a textbook before? Asked Guy. I think we should just blast him, said Nanon. The duo looked at each other apprehensively, unsure if they'd be able to trust each other, or if they'd turn on each other the minute they started fighting. Nanon figured that she'd be able to take out 2 birds with 1 missile, as long as she managed to convince this idiot to work with her for 5 seconds. That'd be sufficient time,
Ladies, there's no reason to fight over little old me.
said Hades.
'Cause you're now both my property. Comes in the rules. Should have read the contract y'all signed when you came here.
I didn't sign a contract. Nanon raised an eyebrow, unsure what this god spoke of.
Then why is your name on it?
Hades produced 2 slips of paper out of thin air, each with illegible handwriting stipulating clauses and rules and other such nonsense. At the bottom, in chicken scratch, was Nunun and Ye Girdner. Is this a joke? Said Guy. I didn't write my G's like that. It's fake!
Fake schmake. I don't think you two get the position you're in.
With a snap of his fingers, thick chains wrapped themselves around Nanon and Guy's legs, tethering them to the realm they were in. Nanon tried removing them, but the minute she touched them, they turned incorporeal. A metaphysical representation. She couldn't leave this realm unless Hades allowed it.
I own you now, and you'll have to entertain me for, say, 10,000 years. That seems reasonable.
Excuse me? Asked Guy. Only one group owns me, and it's the Republicans that run the beautiful U.S. of A. Nanon sighed. Always constantly surrounded by idiots and arrogance. She needed a break. Maybe hell wouldn't be so bad. But no, being here with Guy must have been her own personal hell. Can we work something out? She asked. You know, maybe split it. 0 years for me, 20,000 years for him.
Wow, astounding deal. Let me think about it,
said Hades. A high-class deal only comes once, bozo, said Nanon. For what it's worth, my soul is worth way more than hers, said Guy. It's not, is too.
Sheesh, it's like I'm always around children.
Hades rubbed his face, deeply contemplating what to do next.
All right, fine. I guess I'm gonna get you both at some point anyway. Let's make a game of it. You like games? Of course you do. I'll be real. I'm bored as sin over here.
Ever tried baseball? Asked Guy.
What? No, that's not a real sport. Listen, it's a contest. Whichever one of you can entertain me the most gets their freedom. Loser gets stuck here forever. Seem fair?
I get to impress a demon dude and my work gets done for me, said Guy. Seems unfair. For her, I mean. Oh, please, you dolt. I'm way more interesting than you, said Nanon.
You're gonna see what a true hero can do.
You're a true zero from what I've seen. He scoffed and paid her no mind. His ring glowed, projecting a construct as solid as the real thing. In his hands, he held a Dean RZR LTNG Razorback Lightning guitar.
Here's a classic. Ever heard of Purple Rain?
His dexterous fingers strummed the makeshift guitar. Surprisingly, despite not being real, the guitar sounded identical to a real one. More surprisingly, despite being a beefhead, Guy actually managed to hit every note in the song without issue. Most surprisingly, despite being a god of death, Hades was actually enjoying it. Guess they didn't get any kind of real music down here. Immediately upon him playing, Nanon realized multiple issues with the setup. 1. Her only talent was playing music. 2. This meant she needed to follow up a musical act with a musical act. 3. She somehow talked herself into a rhythm game section. 4. The villain always loses in these sections. 5. She hated the song Guy chose to play. 6. She needed an alternative plan or she'd lose. Without a word, Nanon's band knew exactly what she wanted. They had that kind of bond. 5 of them arrived with a lounging sofa, which Nanon plopped onto. Her favorite stuffed animals were there too, the perfect relaxation tool. The band carried the sofa away from the musical performance, right as he reached the second of many choruses. How long was this song anyway? To her destination. The rest of her band stood in tow. Instead of holding trumpets and violins and clarinets and flutes, they wielded slingshots and maces and flails and axes, ready to slice Guy Gardner in two for their queen. No, nothing so direct, said Nanon. Can't have any of you getting hurt. Her focus shifted behind her growing army. 3 of her members elected to play with the 3-headed dog, whose beady eyes and sharp teeth and continuous slobber showed he demanded food. The girls didn't know this and scratched him behind the ears instead, which she also found pleasurable. Get me on him, she said. Without question, they did exactly as she asked. Eventually, Guy Gardner finished his performance, bowed for himself, and used the ring to generate his own crowd. Encore! Encore! They screamed.
No more,
said Hades.
I got the gist of it after 5 minutes. Good song, let it be done.
Well, if you insist,
said Guy. The crowd disappeared, and his guitar came back once again. The sound of his playing grew dull, the sound drowned out by a thumping noise. It grew louder, faster, and the source became clear. Nanon grasped the collar and held on for dear life as the hellhound ran far faster than she anticipated into the main chamber. Her band sat on its back, combing his hair, applying ribbons throughout it to make it look beautiful.
Hey, that's my dog you've got there,
said Hades. She yanked on the collar as if directing a horse, hoping desperately that it'd slow down as she commanded it. Her band pulled with her. The force of nearly 50 women proved too much for a dog of even that size, and it skidded to a stop, inches away from Guy Gardner. Look down there, boy, a nice big piece of juicy green steak.
Hey, said Guy, I am more of a carb than a protein.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, then check out these buns! Jesus fucking Christ. I hate that line so much.
You're doing good so far.
Yeah.
Do you want someone else to do Guy?
No, he's not going to be here for long.
Alright, good.
Guy turned around and flexed his glutes, an impressive display of showmanship from a muscle-bound freak. Nanon needed to fight back the vomit crawling up in her throat. Cerberus bent down and ate Guy in one bite anyway. Guy attempted to make a construct when he realized this was no joke, but the hound shattered the muzzle he created and ate him with no issue. He burped. A faint green light came out of his mouth, but it disappeared soon after.
Whoa!
Said Hades. A furious look was plastered on his face. With each word, he grew more red, the flames changing color in turn.
Are you kidding me? You come into my underworld, you defy my orders, you make my dog eat someone, and you steal the job of the Furies by ignoring the natural order of the strings of fate?
Are you entertained? Said Nanon.
I like it. Good gumption, kid.
He instantly calmed down.
All right, you're free. I'll show you the way out.
With a snap of his fingers. Did it pick up?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. I needed to make sure that picked up. It's important. With a snap of his fingers, Hades transported himself and Nanan to a location far away from where she landed. She followed in the direction he walked, unsure of where she was being led. Hopefully not the gift shop.
Here's a word of advice. One villain to another. I can see where you came from. Perks of being Lord of the Underworld and all. That handsome guy, Zemnis, whatever guy he goes by these days. Don't put too much stock into that guy. Bad news, that fella.
What's that supposed to mean?
Hey, don't mean to offend. Listen, he's a great bad guy. He's got the schemes, he's got the moves, he's got the motive. But he has a teensy tiny little problem of letting all his subordinates die. Now hey, who doesn't these days? But you seem like a good evil kid. Promising. Also, I don't want you in my underworld. That was kind of messed up back there.
As Hades continued walking with Nanan, eventually they reached a dead end, a cliff with a never-ending swirling vortex of eternally damned souls at the bottom. He handed her a plank of wood and smiled.
Take my advice. Or don't. It's not a big deal. Achilles thought he was invincible too. Here's your ticket back up. Toodaloo. Please don't come back anytime soon.
Hades pushed Nanan off the cliff into the river of the damned. If she landed incorrectly, her soul would be forever trapped in the underworld, never to return to the world of the living. She screamed at the top of her lungs until her lungs gave out and she screamed even more. God, she hated falling! The plank, useless in appearance, saved her life. Right before she made contact, the makeshift boat protected her from the ocean of death below. She rode the current, sailing inward as the liquid drained towards the center like a draining sink. The hands of ghouls, desperate to live again, clawed at her boat. She smacked them with her baton, and they soon let go. Guy Gardner's soul, the last proof of his existence, attempted to crawl onto the plank and steal her spot to the surface. A swift kick to the face sent him back into the abyss, never to be seen again. Faster, faster she clung to the raft for protection. She reached the center, fell to the bottom, and flew. The river Styx erupted like a geysher, spraying hundreds of liquids, tons of death into the air, and she kept going and going and going. And she flew back up through all the bedrock she bore through to land here in the first place. At that moment, Nanan didn't fear the idea of death. She resented it. All right.
Very nice.
What chapter were we on?
6 now.
All right. I can read more, but I'm gonna go grab some food real quick.
Yeah, go eat.
Yep.
So,
It's cool. We can call it here for now.
No.
No, we have to keep going.
We have to keep going. I just need.
Well, I mean, we could take a break.
Shh. We're not ending the.
Yeah,
call.
we're taking a slight break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back.
For now. All right. A geisha.
I
Geyser, yeah.
screamed it, but my mic was muted.
I purposefully muted my mic.
Mine was also muted.
Yeah, I muted mine so I wouldn't interrupt with all my laughing.
Yeah. So I was like, I couldn't remember exactly how my Hades voice went, so I went and listened to Hades. So I was like, oh yeah, it is that comically fucking
Yeah.
over the top. It's like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it was
Get
really
the
good.
fuck
I
out of
liked
here.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, no. Whew.
Oh wait,
Fucking
these are the rest of the Rangers now. Rad.
Rip Guy Gardner.
Yeah, R.I.P. The least useful fucking lantern.
It's true.
Well, no, I take it back. He's useful whenever he's not a Green Lantern.
You know what? Yeah, that's fair. I mean, still more useful than the movie Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, but I don't think that really counts, though, does it? This guy wasn't in the fucking movie. You can't really compare the two.
Oh man. All right.
Did you even stop the recording?
No, it's still going.
Okay.
Or, I don't know. I can't look at her computer, so I have no fucking idea. Mine's still going.
I wonder if
because
you knows how
I
much
have
data that takes.
a lot. Good couple of gigabytes. Oh god, my throat. That's why. No, wait, because she's streaming it, so she can just download it later.
I guess. I don't know if it records both. Or
Well,
it's
she
set to
did
save
two
the
separate
stream.
ones. Oh. She's gonna have to, compile both of them at this point, but I could always just send her mine, which is just one big one.
There's your example of how sensitive his mic is.
Yep.
What?
We can hear you singing from like 3 miles away.
Damn right. That's how you knew I was back. I'm gonna go get more water. I drank all my water.
Where'd you? Ah.
I like went upstairs and then I was like, I guess I'm coming back. Wait, nope. And then you gonna try and reclaim Zemnis, Cam?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's.
I don't think Mickey ever showed up when we read it last time.
He's in here, but it's like later because we never made it in the Mickey chapter.
Well, the whole goal
We
of
stopped
this.
at the Mickey chapter.
It's true, actually. That is exactly what happened. That was
The
like
whole
chapter.
goal of this was to get past the Mickey chapter and also just try to be, less chaotic was the goal,
Well.
which obviously did not happen.
Right.
I mean, it usually ends up like this anyway, whenever it's more than like 2 people, 3 people.
What are you trying to say?
What? That it's chaotic.
I mean, yeah. Also, somebody's audio fucking messed up. Alright.
I'm back. My dad was so, like, quietly annoyed with me that he put on
Oh.
headphones.
Oh, wow.
He's
Passive
watching the
aggressive.
TV in the basement with headphones on.
Oh, that's a bad sign.
It's a smart person.
This isn't his first rodeo.
Not letting anyone hear what they're doing.
No, he doesn't want to hear
No,
me.
he's trying to,
He's blocking
ignore.
me out.
Yeah.
Less sound pollution.
You have been screaming a lot.
I have. Have I?
Yeah, I bet. You've been doing a lot of screams.
Oh yeah, yes I have. People fall. I scream.
People do fall.
That's what I do when I fall.
How's the pulled pork?
It's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
It's good. I did try to muffle myself. Like, I have pillows stuffed under my door.
That's not gonna do anything.
It does. It does do stuff.
I mean, yeah, but you're like upstairs, right?
Yeah, and my dad's all the way in the basement.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah.
So, no. I have to put pillows under my door, like, in general, at night. Because my dad, like, wakes up earlier than I do, and he's really loud.
Oh, he just like stomps around.
No, he talks. He says anything, and I'm awake.
sounds
God.
like an insane person talking to themselves in the middle of the night when people are around and they don't even talk to themselves. You say I have a problem with noise pollution. When people talk to themselves, not knowing that other people are around, it's weird.
I mean, I talk to myself sometimes, but that's just me talking aloud.
My dad's
You know,
talking to my
thinking.
mom, who's also up ridiculously early.
Yeah, that makes sense then. Oh,
But
God.
Then you say things that you don't think people are around to hear, and then I hear them, and I'm like, hey, you're weird.
I'm gonna be up so early whenever I go visit,
Yeah.
because I'm a really light sleeper.
Well, between my parents waking up at 5 a.m. every morning and my sister not going to bed until 3 a.m. every night,
Oh, God.
and like doing
It's just like my family.
she's awful. She does stuff like hammering on her wall.
My sister, she listens to these extremely loud YouTubers all fucking night, and I can't get to sleep. It goes on till like 2 a.m.
Yeah, Lex isn't
And then
that
she's just
bad,
constantly on her phone till, 3 a.m. It's awful.
but she'll do stuff like she's like, oh, I was in a furniture moving mood, and she'll just rearrange the living room at like
Yeah, you told me about that before.
1 in the fucking morning.
Yeah, my sister does that too sometimes. One time she actually like knocked on my door, woke me up and said, "Hey, I need help moving this entire fucking cabinet." And I was like, "Ugh." It's just awful. Wow, it's gonna be just like home whenever I go visit.
All right, I'm almost on my pork.
Are you just eating like raw pulled pork, or do you have it like in a bun?
I have a tiny bun, but it's falling out the bun, so I'm just eating raw
No,
pork.
yeah, that always happens.
It's good.
You should have gotten more buns.
It's those little, what are they called, Hawaiian rolls?
Yeah,
And they aren't enough to contain the pulled pork.
yeah. Too much pork, not enough buns.
But the pork is
Unlike a
good,
guy
so-
gardener who's all buns.
Oh my god. It's awful. Will, are you still with us?
All I can imagine is the squatting.
Hmm.
The squatting.
The squatting.
He didn't squat.
Broly
he just, like,
slash
squats.
Mr. Infinity.
Oh God, no!
What?
You
The
never
squatting
seen the
Broly.
meme of like a thick Brawly with huge ass cheeks
Oh!
squatting? Yeah, that meme.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that meme.
I hate it. It's so fucking. It's always so fucking dumb.
He about to twerk. Alright, I'm ready to read again.
All right,
Oh, William's
Will.
not
where
here.
the Rangers show
Where did
up.
Will go?
Where the fuck?
To get
oh, I
water
think-
for 5 minutes.
Oh God.
So it's gonna be 40 minutes, is what you're saying.
No, well, let's wait some 40 minutes till he comes back with water. Oh, well,
We're almost caught up to where we were.
almost. I think we can make it just to the Mickey part, maybe.
So we're about like
If Cam doesn't explode.
you can do it. Tia. That was good. I don't know what that was, but
That was a good Mickey.
that was a good Mickey.
I think that was a Mickey coming out. He's manifesting.
He's become Mick. Try singing Evanescence.
Oh.
Aww.
How can you see?
I know you can. I
Okay.
know you can. You can sing it, Mickey. I've heard you do it before.
I'm gonna Google that, see if there's a Mickey.
There
Essence.
isn't. There's a goofy version.
Oh. Oh yeah, I've heard the goofy one.
Ohio.
There's a Donald Duck one for the fucking Simple and Clean.
Oh my god.
That's a good one. I love that one. That one's actually pretty good.
I'm tempted to try to sing it, but I know that like the moment I do, the YouTube algorithm's gonna like be like
Explode and just murder you.
explode and destroy this stream because
Yeah.
YouTube really doesn't like Simple and Clean. It's like very prejudiced
Yeah.
against Simple and Clean. It likes things messy and dirty, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. As a clean girl
You know,
myself,
I
feel
think-
like YouTube is anti-me, and by banning the Kingdom Hearts opening for copyright reasons,
yeah.
I am so over it. Ugh.
You know what my theory is? Is that so many people fucking posted Simple and Clean AMVs and videos like early on when it was like super popular It just fucking automatically detects it and just gets rid of it from the algorithm. Just automatically banned. Automatic copyright strike.
Yeah. One of my videos where I was like screaming the lyrics of it for like a Terra video, it picked up on it. It didn't remove that one, but it did pick up on it.
It picked up. It detected your heresy.
Like the music wasn't even playing in the background. It was literally just me singing the lyrics and
Just screaming into the void.
simple and clean is the way that you're.
Don't do it. It's too dangerous.
Thanks for censoring me. All right. How long does it take Will to get a glass of water?
37 hours.
Like, I went, got water, got pulled pork, ate my entire plate of food. What? Was that life detected?
I don't think so. That was not life. That was him. I don't know.
I thought I heard movement.
No. It was a vision.
Oh,
An
darn.
apparition. It's the ghost of Will. Still getting water.
Still getting water.
He
No.
died, but he's still getting water.
He's Will died hours ago. He's still taking a shower.
He steals his Mountain Dews. Should probably bring him to work.
Oh god, no.
No,
Don't bring any Mountain Dew near. No.
I'm not that bad.
I know, but
I know not to drink it. It's not like I'm an addict who's gonna go nuts.
But you refuse
yeah, I
to.
know, but it's
Well,
just,
I don't
you know,
refuse to. That's like a legitimate thing. If I drink Mountain Dew, I will combust.
yeah.
That's not like an
actually-
inversion. I will stay up for 48
Yeah.
hours plus, non-stop.
and do horrible things.
Sure, not.
You almost
know.
deleted your channel.
That is true. Yeah,
You get pretty bad.
I tried to move the pool table in our basement, and
Oh yeah, I remember that.
that did not work. And I just messed it up,
remember.
so now we can't play pool on it anymore. But
Aw.
it got fixed. But
I'll let you use my pool table.
no, it
whenever you
works.
come.
It works. But it's just like I hit
It's
something.
just uneven.
It
Yeah,
was
it's-
uneven
it's
for
no
a
longer-
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't manage to move it. Apparently, you need like an entire squad of trained
Yes.
professionals to
There's
move
an
a
entire
told me about
slab
that.
of marble inside them.
Well, I know that
Oh, okay.
now. I didn't know it then.
You thought you could just move
Literal-
it around.
I got
Stone
mad and I
slab.
like stubbed my toe really badly kicking it. I was really frustrated. I was like, I'm gonna move the pool table and do all of my karate forms in the space that it's currently taking up. And
You're
I
just going outside.
Yeah, but it was like late at night. You
it
can't
was
do
like
that outside.
it was
It's dark.
this was like hour 40 something.
Oh god, he's
If he's please don't be singing Simple and Clean. It'll mess everything
He's
up.
singing
He's not, he's
Snake
not.
Eater.
yeah.
Oh.
Simple and clean. What?
No, we can't
Don't
sing
sing,
it.
don't
Don't.
sing
Do
it.
not. I'm not joking. This isn't a meme. Don't sing it. YouTube will delete everything.
Oh no.
It will murder all of us.
All right, but now
Yeah,
that you're
well-
back, we can continue.
I'll be Snake Eater too.
Don't sing Snake Eater.
It's definitely Snake Eater.
All right. So, chapter 6. Chapter 1. Still the gods comprehend nothing. Part 3. Okay, what are the names of these chapters? Because like
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure this is a
the
joke.
first the prologue was the struggle to understand nothing, and then now it's still the gods comprehend nothing.
It's all just nothing.
I gotcha.
Now you get it.
It
It's
makes-
all Zemnis.
but Semnis
very
is
long.
barely here.
Well, technically,
He's barely here.
yeah, because it's like mostly Draken.
Yeah.
But Zemnis is just like
Is
side
Nomura?
mentor character.
Is-
I don't know.
Is
Oh
Nomura?
yeah, it's Nomura's. This is all Nomura's shit anyway. Makes sense.
Wait.
Well, everything's Nomura, but is it? But there's writers. But is it writers or is it Nomura?
No,
Or
this
is
is
it
like
really-
100% just Nomura because he was locked up in that room or whatever.
Or is this for those who can't?
Oh my god.
Fuck.
It's getting too meta.
Stop. Wait, that's one of the tags.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure meta something is one of the tags.
Well, meta is one of the tags, but
Because there's like 4 writers. It's like 4 levels deep.
yeah,
Alright,
meta.
let's just keep going.
Death of the author is another tag.
I mean, yeah, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So
Spoilers.
So
It's
wait,
not spoilers. He literally said, "I want to die."
He's under contract.
well he's contractually obligated to live.
To not die.
But is
And
not
thus he
dying
did not die.
is not dying the same as living?
No.
That's what I thought. Chapter 6, Chapter 1.
was it-
Still the gods comprehend nothing. Part 3. Draken cared not for the foolish plight of the warriors of light. The further he ascended the stairs to the realm of the gods, the more the voice in his head spoke to him, pleaded for him to stop. "You're better than this," it said. "Is walking the path of evil truly the way to stop evil?" The path of evil? Is that what this headmate viewed it as? Is it evil to kill evil if it means millions won't suffer? Is it evil to watch over each and every civilian to ensure they are stopped before they can even think of committing a crime? Perhaps. But it will create a safe society, one where the people don't have to worry about a giant monster crushing them when they leave the house for a walk, one where they never have to fear losing a loved one again. Are such ideas intrinsically evil? No, Draken reasoned. It's evil to think otherwise. His quest can't, no, it won't end here. Think about what your friends would say if they saw you now. Friends?
Hold on.
The mere sound of the word left a disgusting taste in his mouth. He had none, and yet she insisted he did. He thought back to his time with the Rangers. Did he consider them friends? No. He despised them. Billy's whining, Trini's uselessness, Kimberly's emotional swings, and Jason. Oh, how he loathed Jason! How he positioned himself as the leader of the group despite his inability to truly snuff out any villain. How he acted morally righteous at all times. How he pretended to care. But Draken knew better. Draken knew the true colors of all the Rangers, the colors aside from the ones they wore. He vaguely recalled one last Ranger being there, but their name wasn't even worth remembering.
That's racist.
Is it the Black Power Ranger?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, oh, okay.
I think dragons are racist.
Well, he is the White Power Ranger.
Well, yeah. Oh, no, white power. You're right. No.
White Power... White Power... It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. Yeah.
Woo. I think this is your line.
Oh shit! All right. Utter one more word to me, inner princess, and I shall drive this dagger I wield into my skull to eliminate the both of us.
The voice didn't say anything after that. When Draken ascended the last step, a pair of golden gates that spanned 100 feet stood in front of him. This gate, impossibly heavy, discerned the difference between a mortal and a god. But he was no mere mortal. With a single blow to the center of the monument, it flew off its hinges and scattered into hundreds of smaller individual pieces. That garnered the attention of those residing within. The ancient Greek gods, long thought dead in the modern era, all sat around a long table feasting on the succulent foods the mortal realm had to offer. Zeus, Aphrodite, Athene, Hermes, Dionysus, Persephone, and many more turned to their intruder. "A mortal?" Wait, that was the wrong voice. "A mortal?" asked Aphrodite. "He certainly has a nice build, but he might be a touch lost." "He's hostile," said Athena. "He's lacking in guidance if he believes he can challenge the gods."
What?
Well.
Zeus.
You're
Well,
saying-
I think Will got water again.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry.
Oh.
I've got him. Don't worry.
said Zeus. From his belt, he pulled a lightning bolt 10 feet long and hurled it towards Draken. Despite the ranger's speed, none had the capacity to match the gods but the gods themselves. The electricity struck him in the chest. 1,000,000 volts coursed through his veins, and he promptly collapsed to the ground. Draken gasped for air. An attack composed of light struck at the very core of his being, ate away at what remained of his soul, and threatened to erase him then and there. Slowly, he rose to his feet, pushed aside the pain inside of him. How pathetic it would be to fall now, when he was inches away from accomplishing his goal. With ragged breaths, he forced himself to remain strong.
Try again.
He said.
I can't use all my lightning on one mortal. What if I need more later? You guys have anything for this? Allow me,
said Ares. With a wave of his arm, a horrifying monstrosity appeared in front of him, a bipedal lizard with the head of a dragon. Impossible to discern where its mouth ended and began. He let out a breath of fire nonetheless. In his right arm, he held aloft a pitch-black sword forged out of a meteorite.
What is this disgusting creature?
Asked Draken.
Watch your tongue, knave!
Shouted Ares.
That is my strongest champion, Nemesis the Warlock, a warrior from a distant planet who fights for the freedom of all. He has been granted a sword blessed by myself, the god of war. In all aspects, he is a true hero.
A true hero.
Draken pulled out his weapon, twin daggers for swift movements.
Is there no truer hero than I? The one who will rule all over and usher in an era of peace?
Greedo!
Shouted Nemesis. In his language, it was a war cry, a chant for one who believed in their utter victory. Draken believed otherwise. Immediately, Draken showed no mercy. Faster than the beast comprehended, he stabbed him numerous times. Once in the shoulder, once in the chest, in the arm, and in his gut. He intended to flay this monster with his first few strikes. Nemesis enduring the hits and striking back with a swing of his own was unexpected. Despite his weapon being the size of an ordinary blade, Lord Draken felt the blunt of the blow as the strength of a god enhanced his strike. He flew through a column which shattered the instant his back collided with it, if only for it to reform once he cleared through as if it was made entirely of clouds.
Stand down!
Said Nemesis. His voice gargled as his vocal cords spoke in a language they were unaccustomed to.
If you surrender now, the gods may yet show mercy!
Silence, foul beast!
Said Draken. He jumped to his feet and resumed his battle stance.
Lord Draken doesn't surrender to anyone, let alone a false god.
Why do you fight?
Asked Nemesis. He paused for a moment. This beast, did it have the capacity to reason with him? All his life, he spent his waking moments exterminating creatures like them to ensure humanity remained safe. He took no pleasure in working with them when Rita Repulsa gave him orders. But these monsters made of clay that fidgeted around barely constituted as conscious beings. A creature like Nemesis? Did it truly care for his answer?
Freedom.
Said Draken.
I wish for humanity to be free from the shackles of life that tether them to fear.
Then I suppose we are the same!
Jesus Christ, said Nemesis.
Angry.
For I desire the freedom of the oppressed, for a better world where one can live without fear of death.
Are you alright? Do you want to try a different voice?
No,
No!
it's good. It's good. Go,
I'm Nemesis.
go, Draken.
Alright.
Next.
I assure you, we are nothing alike.
The foul creature opened its massive maw and expelled flames rivaling the heat of the sun. To even go near it, Draken recoiled in pain. No doubt it'd only take a single blast to erase him where he stood. He took a step back, forced into the defensive to survive. 1, 2, 3 more blasts, each one sidestepped. The attacks themselves, while fatal if a single one landed, weren't exactly fast. The god of war must have preferred strength over speed. An advantage he'd exploit. Beasts had short attention spans. One swift move and they'd be caught off guard. He threw one of his daggers at the beast, an attack aimed to draw its ire. As his eyes followed the dagger, training to melt it out of thin air, he jumped into the air to slice him in half from above. No matter which direction the monster aimed, he'd sustain a fatal blow. Or so he thought. Nemesis was as cunning as he was dangerous. With a slight movement of his body, the thrown blade entered his shoulder, allowing him to look upwards and blast Draken with the fires that sent him straight to the underworld. Unable to dodge in the air, he took the full blunt of the blast, collapsing on the ground. The sweltering heat, he had no defenses against it. That one hit, that one fatal mistake spelled his demise. The last thoughts that flooded his mind were regrets. Once again, he failed his mission. Not even to a ranger, not even to a foolish Jason, to a monster. His body was in the process of shutting down. Darkness ebbed from his wounds. His body cooked itself alive, the organs melting underneath his skin. A thick bile rose up his throat, likely the remains of his stomach looking for an exit. The gods, they cared not. They returned to their feasts, content with the threat being eliminated. He hated them. He hated them with every fiber of his being. The greatest mistake God ever made was granting free will to the masses. It's what allowed evil to lurk in the darkness. Alas, he had no time left to regret, no time to hate. His body took in one last strained breath, prepared to float down the river Styx. In another life, he'd have another chance at accomplishing the ultimate mission the Rangers were too scared to take on. Get up, Bommy!
The river stinks!
What?
I swear
said
to
right, I
God,
think.
I heard like
That's
float
what she
down
said.
the river stinks.
I heard sticks.
Sticks.
Okay.
Get up, Tommy, said the voice in his head. He hated that voice too, come to think of it. You can go the distance! His one pleasure in perishing at the thought would mean he would never again hear the whispers of what he could have been if he remained a coward. I said, get up! Suddenly, a surge of energy rushed through his body. The goop that constituted as his body regenerated. All of his fatal injuries healed in an instant. The princess within him kept him alive. At that moment, he remembered one vital law of this universe. A princess can never be killed, only replaced. They rued the day they underestimated him. Draken rose to his feet. Confident in his abilities, he took off his helmet and let his golden locks flow down. He'd rely on the protection of a princess to save him in this fight. Still alive? Asked Nemesis. Interesting. No one has survived my strength before,
None have survived the might of Draken.
he said. Perhaps you will make a good rival.
And you will make an excellent trophy.
Nemesis exhaled. I don't know that word.
Exhaled.
I know that word now. Nemesis exhaled once more. Fire burning at 10,000 degrees constantly pelted his body. The spandex that clung to him bubbled as it melted away, merging with his skin. His skin boiled with each step he took forward. Any normal man would die at this point, but a princess? A princess didn't die so easily. His wounds healed as fast as they were created. A hole in his chest opened and quickly sealed. The golden hair kept him alive, no matter what it took. When Draken crossed the distance, he wrapped his hands around Nemesis's rectangular head. The fire didn't let up, but Draken cared not. With a single twist, a sickening crunch reverberated throughout the entire mountain as Nemesis's head broke and his head twisted a complete 180 degrees. Nemesis continued to breathe fire for several seconds before he realized he died and promptly perished on the ground. Draken's gaze turned to the gods before him. With a clump of hair wrapped around his fist, he grabbed the sword enchanted by Ares. He made its power his own. If a princess had the capabilities to defeat a god, then the combination of the two must be that much greater.
I've got him!
Shouted Hermes. The metal of the sword transformed, its shape molded into that of a whip, which he used to catch Hermes mid-flight and slam him into the ground. The force of the impact instantly evaporated him, turning him into nothing more than a red stain in the clouds. Zeus...
Oh!
Hermes, are you okay? Zeus fired another thunderbolt, his electricity that was famous for felling the Titans. In a flash, the whip's shape shifted into a shield that absorbed the blow and deflected it back into Ares. He writhed on the ground, unable to resist the strengthened electricity. Eventually, his heart stopped beating, and his movements ceased. The gods took a cautious step back, wary of the legendary weapon they accidentally bestowed upon their opponent.
This mountain has quite a view.
Said Draken.
I believe I'll make it mine. It will be a fitting place to rule once the rest of the world surrenders to my will.
Fool foolish boy!
cried Zeus.
This is Mount Olympus! Only the gods can reside here!
I see only one god here, and it's none of you. Alright, there we go.
Jesus Christ. That line. So
Very
good.
edgy.
So good.
Beautiful. Oh.
Okay, does
The
somebody
edgiest.
Cam, are you ready to take back your position as Zemnis?
I don't know, maybe.
Right.
Eh, what? I was watching the direct. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck.
It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
I thought it was 8 o'clock already.
It's 10, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
10
I thought it was
o'clock.
like 8:30. What the hell?
Time zones.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So somebody else please be Zemnis. I cannot do this.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to pee.
How dare?
Right, Will, you want to be Zemnis?
I mean, just wait for Cam to come back.
Yeah, we'll just wait for
There are
Cam.
no brakes on this train.
Oh, I guess
There
not.
are there's no time to pee. We're going at the maximum velocity.
We will.
There is no pissing allowed on this train.
Come on, Cam. Come.
How fast do you think someone can pee?
Very.
Very fast. We should have timed him.
Oh, yeah, we probably should have.
Cam's the fastest, and it's still like 50 seconds at least.
What?
'Cause you gotta like run. You gotta like run to the back.
Yeah, you gotta, like, it's a whole
But like
process.
guys don't even need to like pull down your pants. It should be quicker. for
Well, you gotta pull it down a bit, but
You gotta like adjust.
you gotta
things.
zip it, and then you gotta
And
zip it,
also-
unzip it.
You can't just like
process.
power blast your bladder. That's not
I mean, you
good for
kinda
anything.
can, but
Well, you just boom, and then you're done. You wash your hands. And you're
uh,
done.
I wish it was that easy. I
Yeah.
like your like perspective though.
Where's Cam? Come on.
you should be back
It's
within
been like barely a
20
minute.
seconds.
It's been a minute. Come
Do
on.
you not want him to wash his hands? That's 30 seconds right there.
Look, no one needs to be sanitary when we're talking about devil magic, alright? There's no sanitation. I haven't seen Draken wash his hands once.
He's got all that blood on him, and he has not washed his hands.
Yeah.
You don't need to wash your hands when you have the power of the darkness.
Yeah.
Darkness is
just
like
destroy
boiling water.
germs.
It
It
Sanitizes.
completely disinfects everything.
yeah. Because like darkness is raw power. So if you have like darkness or light, like they both are cleansing, you know.
But they're cleansing in different ways.
They both cleanse, but they're so pure that they cleanse anything they touch.
Thanos snap. That's why
guess.
they never have to clean in the organization's house.
Yeah. No, they do have to clean.
They do.
Pretty sure the manga, yeah.
Yeah, the
A
manga.
little bit.
Yeah, they
Dusk sweep.
Yeah.
He's probably been back for like 45
All right.
seconds.
I just got back when I went.
Cam! Come on.
come on.
You missed it, but Melinda was saying that it takes like 10 seconds for us to pee.
Yeah.
Because you could just
I mean, the
punch
act
your
of
bladder
actually
really
peeing,
hard, and it
probably,
just
yeah, about like 10 seconds.
That,
But like
that-
everything else
well,
takes a bit.
gotta like zip, unzip, adjust.
You can
fucking,
unzip
like-
and zip while you're walking.
What?
What the fuck? That's
Well-
public indecency.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
he's
probably
not in
See,
public.
that's how you
he's
get
in his
arrested.
house.
No,
It's
he can get
true.
arrested still. It doesn't matter.
In your
I-
own
I barely
house?
wear any
Cop,
clothes
yeah, the
right now.
cop under your bed will arrest you.
Well, I think that's indecent of the cop.
Well, that's not his problem.
How dare?
That's what
We're
his
not in
cop under
China.
his bed is for.
Oh shit, demonetize.
No. Okay,
Oh,
so Cam, are you ready?
This wasn't getting monetized in the first place.
No, it's not.
No.
Oh no.
Cam, are you ready to be Zemnis?
Go.
Whoa, then why do we wait for you?
What?
We were waiting for you.
I
He
said
told you
go.
to go ahead.
Oh,
right
I thought
now.
you said no.
I also thought he said no.
I heard go. You guys are retarded hearing.
Oh.
Wow. I feel attacked. Chapter 7. Chapter 1. Still the gods comprehend nothing. Part 4.
Alright, whatever.
As he looked down at his opponent, Xemnas made no attempt to take the first action. He stood and waited to see why this woman intended on wasting his time. "You have no idea who I am, do you?" asked Ava.
I have no recollection of you in any capacity.
Said Xemnas. "Yeah, well, I know all about you, all about what it means to be a Xehanort. You don't care, do you? You didn't care when you destroyed my world, when you plunged it into darkness, when you took the lives of my parents, when you traumatized my brother. Do you have anything to say for yourself?" Xemnas genuinely pondered her words, though thought back to all of his actions, all the actions his other selves would theoretically take, and he came to one conclusion.
It seems I can't recall this incident.
White Tiger immediately leapt into action, a righteous fury in her screams of anger. She swung her arms, the tips of her fingers sharp enough to slice through steel. With one blow, she cut his head clean off. He made no attempt to move, but her action was doomed to fail from the beginning, as by the time she processed her own attack, Xemnas already disappeared from her sight. He teleported behind her and walked away. "Fight me, you—" Oh, sorry, that was the wrong voice. "Fight me, you coward!" she screamed.
Then show me you're worth the effort,
said Xemnas, with a grunt. She lunged at him again and again, but Xemnas toyed with her. He didn't view her as a worthy opponent, and thus elected to tire her out until she gave up. The moment she realized her uselessness, he won. At moments, she got a little too close to comfort. Despite his confidence, he hardly remembered the last time he directly fought an opponent. His movements were rustier than he anticipated. A slight twirl got him out of reach, but each moment her chances of landing a direct blow increased. The next opportunity, he grabbed her by the arm and slammed her onto the ground, displacing dirt and creating and cratering the earth beneath her.
How pathetic,
he said.
Pawn struggles aimlessly, believing herself to be a queen, when she cannot hope to even match the strength of a knight.
"I'll show you!" Her claws extended. She tried to grip Xemnas' wrist to stab into his arm, but his baggy sleeve slipped through her hands without issue.
Show me what? The futility of all this almost disappoints me. Here I was hoping for a challenge, but in my rest you warriors of light have gotten careless.
"You haven't even seen half of what I can do!" Ava clutched onto her amulet. A bright light emanated from it, so bright Xemnas had no option but to shield his eyes lest it wipe him out. "I call upon the Tiger God! Grant me your power!" The world around Xemnas shifted. This ability, while familiar to him, still caught his interest. The clouds around him changed into an open battlefield, a place he knew well. The place he died. The battlegrounds of the Great Keyblade War. A stretch of desolate land miles long in all directions. Millions of Keyblades litter the ground, relics of the many who perished defending their beliefs. No lowly warrior of light had the ability to come here on their own, which meant...
So you are indeed the one I am looking for. This reality marble proves you're the one with dominion over the power of reality.
Ava ignored Xemnas. To summon this power, to defeat the man in front of her, to avenge her family, she needed to absorb the strength of her god inside her body, which meant she needed to utter the holy chant. "I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. I have wielded over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death, unknown to life, I have withstood pain to hold these blades. Yet these hands do not belong to me. So as I pray to the great tiger spirit, unlimited Keyblade works!" Why are you making noises behind me when I'm chanting?
I hate it.
Yeah, like, can you not?
Now I have to read it again. Thank you.
No.
That was a very impactful moment. What the heck?
It sounded like he was dying. Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. I have wielded over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death, unknown to life, I have withstood pain to hold these blades. Yet these hands do not belong to me. So, as I pray to the great tiger spirit, unlimited Keyblade works! Behind Ava, Xemnas finally caught sight of her so-called god. A massive tiger spanning 70 meters. While it glowed an ethereal green, its true colors of regal orange and black shone through. The tiger appeared both lazy and vicious in nature. In its mouth, it held a massive keyblade that was more wood than metal. Grant me this power, Shere Khan! Ava clutched two keyblades, one in each hand. Jungle King and Circle of Life. Blades composed of crude materials held together by strings. Its power held true, but its appearance was disgusting. Only a savage woman would rely on the power by these means,
And here I thought you'd prove amusing.
said Xemnas.
This must be some kind of joke.
Scared yet?
Quite the opposite.
I'm a true hero, one who fills a world with darkness with light. I'll prove it right here and now. White Tiger launched forward, swinging her blades with more proficiency than before. One clean hit from a keyblade had the potential to tear him asunder, to separate the string of fate tethering him to the mortal realm. And yet, despite her efforts, she didn't land a single hit on Xemnas. He had fought too many keyblade wielders, knew all of their moves, knew where they'd aim their thoughtless actions to attack only the most vital locations to end fights in an instant. They never entertained the notion of relishing in the thrill of battle.
True hero? In this world, there are no heroes.
One blade came inches away from Xemnas' head. He caught it in his bare hands and crushed it in his grip. What use was a keyblade composed of simple bamboo and twigs? The destruction of her weapon didn't stop her. She immediately picked up another from the ground, swung it knowing it would do nothing, and grabbed another each time her previous weapon got destroyed effortlessly.
Are you not growing tired of this?
Said Xemnas.
If this is all you have to offer, then you don't deserve to wield such a powerful weapon. Your brother would be abashed to see you now.
The instant he uttered those words, an indescribable rage consumed her. Every single keyblade in the war zone levitated out of the ground. They flew into the air, forming into one solid mass. A tidal wave of blades, all localized in one spot, coiling around like a snake. White Tiger ascended upwards and climbed that mass until she reached the top. She gained control of all those blades at once. With one strike, she'd eliminate Xemnas. With 1,000,000, she'd ensure not a speck of him remained in this world. Damn you, Xemnas! She shouted. This is for my family. You'll suffer and die, just like they did. Each blade rained down upon the ground as if a hurricane of swords assaulted the land. The serpent-like creation of blades slithered through the air, aimed directly at Xemnas, ready to decapitate him where he stood by crushing him and slicing his tendons, and staining the ground with his blood and erasing the very name of Xehanort from the human consciousness. The White Tiger crushed headfirst into a building! It took her a while to even process what happened. She was in the middle of the desert, no cityscape in sight. The time period of this world didn't even allow the creation of a skyscraper. And yet, she bore the impossible construction at speeds approaching the speed of sound. It was a surprise she didn't die on impact when Xemnas threw the building at her. The pain from this unexpected attack was too great for her to withstand. The reality marble shattered. Her connection to her god withered. She groaned on the floor, unable to move a muscle. Xemnas clutched Ava by her throat and grasped her amulet with her free hand. Please don't, she begged. Without that amulet, without my connection to the tiger god, I'm nothing. Such a ridiculous statement made Xemnas hesitate. The corner of his mouth curled into some approximation of a smile. He laughed, a disgusting laugh only one such as him, a nobody, could replicate.
Nothing?
Asked Xemnas.
Hold on.
Wait, what are you doing?
Impromptu timing.
Literally what?
Impromptu timing.
What does that mean?
Things that happen at a very bad time.
I'm going to choke you. Do you have raids right now?
What? No, literally, I live in a house, and there are other people in the house, and then the people, they exist, and then they're...
You're being called?
No, but it's over now.
Just like a fire alarm?
No, they just said something, and that was it.
Okay.
A
Such-
minor inconvenience.
Such a ridiculous statement made Xemnas hesitate. The corner of his mouth curled into some approximation of a smile. He laughed, a disgusting laugh only one such as him, a nobody, could replicate.
Nothing?
Asked Xemnas.
What do you know of nothingness? One such as myself is incapable of feeling emotion. When a night of rigorous jollity arises, I am forced to watch on, unable to join in. In times of great sorrow, tears will never shed from my body. Even now, I do not feel the slightest bit of hatred from this encounter.
His fingers wrapped around the amulet, and with a light tug, the loose string that held it along her neck tore into two.
If you warriors of light are so truly capable of feeling nothing, then perhaps you will finally understand why one such as myself clings so desperately to the idea of finally attaining something.
From beneath his wrists, a laser composed of pure energy shot out like a bullet. With nothing to protect her, it pierced through her abdomen, cauterizing the wound created as it passed through. If she had the protection of her god, or a keyblade, healing from an attack as small as this would be no issue whatsoever. But, as she said, without any of those, she had nothing. She'd need to crawl on her hands and feet all the way to the town below the clouds and beg the locals for salvation, if their primitive world even had the technology to save her. What did he care, though? After all, he was incapable of feeling empathy. Xemnas walked up to the rest of the mountain in solitude. Halfway up his journey, Nanan appeared from the sky, landing in a heap in front of him. Geez, I bet you've been having Oh, God. I can't read. Geez, I bet you've been having fun while I got stuck with all the work, said Nanan.
Work is an overstatement.
Said Xemnas.
Is it work to avoid a bag fluttering in the wind that travels in your direction? Is it work to think about a foot you shall use first to walk?
You could just say you had it easy. No need for the cryptic mumbo-jumbo. The two continued up the path set out by the denizens of Mount Olympus. The travel proved surprisingly quiet. He expected resilience, a great battle to come of their disturbance, the wrath of dozens of gods storming upon them in the instant they crossed a certain barrier. Instead, they witnessed ruin and destruction. An aqueduct torn in two, holes in the clouds now stained red instead of their normal, illustrious yellow hue, and bodies. So many bodies. Filled with stab wounds, sliced in two, some even beaten to death. Among the ruins, one man sat upon a throne. Zeus's throne, the elder god who ruled above all. Lord Draken sat there, his helmet off, his golden locks flowing in the wind. Not a single scratch on his body, and in his hand, a chalice filled with a purple liquid. The chalice itself felt enchanted by the gods. It appears he came across quite the nifty tool. Overkill much? Asked Nanan.
Dionysus. He certainly lived up to his name.
Draken sat comfortably as he took a sip.
But he fell, just like the rest.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Asked Xemnas.
The answer to your conundrum?
Perhaps.
Said Draken.
Perhaps not. The slaughter felt fulfilling. To know that gods don't stand a chance against me. And the denizens of Thebes, if they are a warrior race, they will make excellent rangers. If they were... Wait, hold on.
However.
Sorry, I just misread the first part. However...
Speak your mind. Let the overflowing emotion within you out into the world, so that I may attempt to understand you.
These are not the gods I seek. The voice in my head didn't reside here, and a great disturbance flows from down my spine even now. As if some greater threat to my success lurks in the darkness. A dark even I can't reach. A god even stronger than these.
Xemnas threw the tiger pendant at Draken, which he caught with ease. He considered a useless trinket and wore it around his neck, another trophy over those who believed light to be superior to darkness.
Is that Xemnas? I can't tell.
It is, yes.
Then we shall continue our goal. That pendant represents reality, We only need 3 more keys to unlock our destination. Darkness, unreality, and nothingness. Once you have control over the 5, then the One Piece will appear.
You know, Nanon tapped her cheek, confused by the exchange and honestly feeling a bit left out. You never told us what the One Piece is. When are you going to stop being so vague about it?
Why, that's simple.
Xemnas extended his arms out, looking upon the world below him. He knew it couldn't be here. Long ago, he searched this very world and found nothing. He always found nothing.
Hidden inside of a black box.
Dun, dun,
Nice.
dun.
Spooky.
Chapter 8, Chapter 2, Mickey Got Norted, Part 1. Okay, this is, you read this one, Will.
I was gonna say.
No,
Hey, 1 second.
So.
Hold on.
no, we're not holding. We must continue.
There are no brakes on this train.
Okay, just keep reading and I will not leave as soon as you start reading.
Alright. As Tetsuya Nomura mourns the loss of an old friend in a world of rain, the organization celebrates the initiation of a new member in a world of snow. Death. Humans feared death. Every conscious and unconscious decision made on their part acted as a deterrent to death. The food they ate, the amount of exercise they performed, the medicines and supplements they decided to take, their manner of speech, their dressing habits, their levels of hygiene. All of it contributed to their death. All knew that excelling in these fields prolonged life. Yet death comes anyway. Even if one ate the most nutritious foods, dressed in a professional manner, went to the gym 4 times a week, and visited doctors on a regular basis to ensure they'd survive, all humans are meant to die. The board of directors of Square Enix's Japan wept openly as Shinji Hashimoto's casket was lowered into the ground. The executive director of the company passed away unexpectedly. Age caught up with him, no doubt. A torrential downpour descended upon the land. All the higher-ups held umbrellas to prevent their expensive suits from being ruined. Yosuke Matsuda bawled like a baby. He pulled out several 10,000 yen notes to wipe away his tears and mucus.
Oh, God.
Tetsuya Nomura stood without protection from the weather and allowed himself to get wet. He didn't cry over the loss of his friend. He thought back to a conversation they'd had when he first joined the company. He told Shinji to truly succeed in this company, he needed to make decisions that appealed to the masses. He meant it as a joke, a talking point to complain about his gripes with creating art. Shinji told him that nothing would make him happier than creating a product that can be enjoyed by all. Despite spending a decade in solitary confinement, he never felt more alone in his life than at that moment. The drinks they shared, the laughs, the good times and the bad. No matter what, he always came back to that moment to lament. He had kept his mouth shut. Would something else take its place? Would a different moment gnaw away at the back of his skull, consuming his brain matter until nothing remained except for a Nomura-shaped husk? His corpse entered the earth, buried among the flowers, now wet from the rain. He'd become one with nature, and fertilize those same plants. He'd be reborn, and potentially bring joy to a child who walked by and saw the garden they stood in, as he always wanted. If he had a choice, Nomura reasoned cremation would be his ideal afterlife. Nothing but dust in the wind. There'd be no reason for any individual to speak of his name again.
Nomura-san! Did it pick that up?
Hmm?
Did it pick that up?
Oh no.
Nomura-san!
A young woman with frazzled hair and out-of-place glasses ran up to him, holding an umbrella out in his direction. His normally slicked hair drooped, unerect from its usual Final Fantasy-esque style. His clothes sagged, soaked to the brim. His face dripped. The makeup he secretly wore ran. Still, despite all of this, he denied the aid. Nishizono, you finished, I presume? She spent several minutes catching her breath. The Square Enix headquarters were quite a distance away, 15 minutes by car, from Shinji's burial spot. For her to run all that distance, she must have intended to see him immediately. She set out to completely read and understand the script of Kingdom Hearts 4. For weeks, months, he allowed her to remain at his room, reading his prose in its entirety from start to finish. Did she understand? Did she comprehend? Did she take a small part of himself into her, reason as he did, and finally know what it meant to be Tetsuya Nomura?
They'll kill you! Did you pick that
The
up?
first part cut out.
I only picked up the kill you part.
They'll kill you.
You're a girl, you're not.
You don't have to change it, it's just go.
They'll kill you.
There you go.
Oh, come on.
It's perfect.
She screamed.
Oh, they'll kill you!
There you go.
The other employees turned to look, marveled at the sight in front of them. A deranged woman berating Nomura? Speaking to him of death, as if that's not what he desired? Interesting. Nomura rubbed his chin. He contemplated what to make of the intern. Her first thoughts were not of the deeper message hidden within, not of the subtle arcs everyone went through, not even a generic platitude of, she liked it. She spoke of his well-being?
The Walt Disney Company, the House of Mouse, they...
Nomura shushed the woman, took hold of her arm, and left the funeral before anyone spoke a word to them. They entered his car. It was free from the rain, but quite cramped on account of being several decades old, and crammed with miscellaneous junk he'd never bothered to remove. Calm yourself, said Nomura. Speak slowly. I wish to absorb your first impressions into my soul, so I may grow as a creator, so I may know whether to lament the people of this generation or behold them.
Disney, they...
She took a moment to compose herself.
You were combined during those days, but ever since they obtained a monopoly on media, they've taken their IP extremely seriously, more than usual.
I am familiar with cease and desist orders.
It's more than that! Back in Colombia, this guy drew graffiti of Tarzan with a different hairstyle, and they arrested him! Locked him away for 30 years! Another in Vanda's Liechtenstein, a total ghost town. Somebody wrote a fanfiction. The fanfiction. The secret life of the 103rd Dalmatian. The National Guard came to strike them down.
Certainly, copyright laws had become more strict during his imprisonment. But did that truly mean his work couldn't exist in today's climate? Starvation, lack of shelter, a shattered ozone layer? Did his magnum opus defy the danger hidden in those issues? If you understood the message portrayed in the game, you'd be speaking differently, said Nomura. Unfortunately, since your concern is not with the story, but with myself,
I do understand!
she shouted. Nishizono grasped onto his jacket, her grip tight enough to wring out the rainwater.
At least I think I do. I don't know what I don't know, but I don't know that this game has the power to change lives. Oh, but I do know that this game has the power to change lives, to fix all the issues present in the world. By the time I reached the end, it all made sense. It clicked. It'll alter reality.
Then why the hell do you care so much about outside factors? The art is the only part of the equation that should matter.
Because people won't see your art once Disney understands what you're trying to do. The bastardization of their characters is a matter they hold close to their hearts. You can't change the world if you're dead. For all we know, tomorrow they'll drop a bomb on our studio and claim it as an accident. Who will stop them? I can't die. I have bills to pay.
So that's the reason. Self-preservation. She desired the launch of the game to improve her own life, while fearing for it simultaneously. She understood, but not truly. At best, she comprehended the surface layer symbolism put forth. and got nowhere near close to the true power he hid underneath. Akin to dangling keys in front of a baby, he pushed Nishizono off of him and handed her his phone. On it, a video of cutscenes recently animated for the game. For the accursed part she no doubt alluded to. If you believe something is wrong with this, then point to it exactly. Find the exact moment you believe severs my tie to this realm, and show it so I may relish in the moment I caused my own death. With shaking hands, Nishizono stared at the screen. Kingdom Hearts characters danced along, speaking normally. All seemed well on the surface, but still she watched in fear. Watched for the moment it all went wrong. She watched for the moment that to decide her fate, and Nomura's.
God.
Chapter 9, Chapter 2, Mickey Got Norded, Part 2.
I think I can read this.
Yes.
Okay. I just have to comment. If Gact shows up in this, I am going to lose my mind.
He can't show up in this. He's retired now.
Well, but this was written before his retirement.
I know. But I like to assume if he doesn't show up, it's because he's retired. Otherwise, he would have.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, like,
Recently retired, yeah.
Yeah.
quote unquote retired. But it might be because
Why,
he got in.
Quote unquote.
The artist formerly sued as Gact.
Yes.
For his Gact coin.
Get to go coin.
I can't believe it. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be.
Yep.
Oh, shoot! Sorry, I'm putting
What
on
was that?
socks and I forgot I was wearing headphones.
What?
Oh, nice.
Nice.
She probably can't reach her socks because of the headphones, or she got tangled up.
Both, I'm guessing.
All I heard was ox.
Ox.
Socks.
Socks. Everybody. Rip DMX.
That's definitely gonna get us blacklisted.
Alright. I return. Ahem.
Oh,
Alright. Ready?
Tetsuya.
I just have to say, like, when he started was like, where exactly? Show me exactly where. Like, in the back of my head was Sephiroth's theme was playing.
Oh, God.
The orchestrated version that someone made. The fully orchestrated version.
Tetsuya Nomura's Devil Magic, Chapter 9, Chapter 2, Mickey Got Nerded, Part 2. The conquest of Twilight Town went better than expected. In the center of the plaza, sculptors worked tirelessly to erect a statue in Draken's visage. Denizens of Thebes, now adorned in Power Ranger armor, patrolled the streets with heavy weaponry. Spears and swords and firearms at their side, they kept the city safe. Due to a strict 8 p.m. indoor curfew, the crime rate dropped to an astounding 0%. Any who dared ruin that figure perished. They attained 2 of the 5 keys they needed to access Kingdom Hearts, both currently in the possession of Draken. The light of a princess, the reality of a Keyblade warrior. Soon they'd attain darkness, unreality, and nothingness. They'd find some weird black box and poof, Kingdom Hearts right in front of her. Despite all of this, Nanan Jakazure was no closer to attaining her goals than when she joined the organization. Her feet dangled off the edge of a clock tower. If she leaned forward, she'd plummet to her death, but she didn't even entertain the possibility of such a disaster. Sure, world domination was a lofty goal. She couldn't make fun of Draken for that, only his ridiculous manner of speech and his girly hair and his pompous attitude. But she didn't want the world. She wanted her own little utopia. The planet's too big. Let him run around like a wannabe emperor. She wanted to build up a small place of her own, the mayor of a tiny town. A place like this, she'd rule fiercely, not let a single uprise take place. She'd never allow her people to get dissatisfied, or else they'd pay the price. And she'd rule with an adorable princess by her side. She had it all once, but she needed to give it up. Her old life, back before she joined the organization, it made her sigh. Sigh. She had fun days all the time. Now she needed to work. Work. She hated work. She wanted to sit in her chair and eat lollipops while snuggling her teddy bears, only playing music on the weekend with her band members. Now that'd be the life. Talking to herself always felt nice. She was always surrounded by two men twice her age these days. Her band members never spoke a word, only nodded along to whatever she said.
Is this where you scurry off to after our meetings?
Lord Draken appeared next to her. Those pesky portals meant she'd never get any privacy if her team just followed her. Behind him, Zenmis stood. To see him out of the throne room and actually out and about was quite a pleasant surprise. It made him feel less holier than thou. Not in particular, she said. This spot called out to me. The two of them sat next to her, for reasons even they barely understood. It must have felt natural to them as it did to Nanan.
I can see what you mean,
said Draken. He removed his helmet, allowing his face to grace the land before him.
There's an ample vantage point to view my growing kingdom.
No, nothing like that. Don't you think it's nice? Relaxing? Like it soothes the soul.
Indeed.
Said Zemnis.
I get the sense that this is why others have gathered here in the past.
Nanan tapped her cheek. She didn't mind the company. She would have preferred better company, but she'd settle for these two chumps. Something nagged at the back of her skull, though. Why are you two here anyway? Asked Nanan.
Zemnis asked me to get you, and when I located your position, he elected to follow me,
said Draken.
This spot seems sufficient,
said Zemnis.
In due time, I would have gathered a meeting in this very location on my own here. Oh, here. I have brought a gift to reward the two of you for performing your task without complaint and with great efficiency.
Zemnis produced from his pocket 3 popsicles and handed them out to each person. She unfolded the wrapping paper and noted its flavor, sea salt. Nanan bit into the baby blue popsicle in her hands. The chill of the ice hurt her teeth, weakened from all the candy she consumed on a daily basis. Its flavor reminded her of a seagull stuck between the blue of the sea and the blue of the sky, not sure where to land, soaring forever in the endless expanse of color. Sweet and salty. Not a combination she expected, not one she hated. Thanks for the treat, but what's the big idea? Asked Nanan. Is this some kind of company bonus? Your version of a Pizza Friday?
Long ago, old subordinates of mine sat in this very spot,
said Zemnis.
They somberly basked in the glow of the twilight, sharing tales of good cheer. They called each other friends, companions, relished in their victories, learned from their defeats.
Zemnis took a bite of the ice cream himself, not displaying any signs of enjoyment.
I can't taste this,
he said.
But I can only hope that through the simple act some sort of bond will have been created to empower us. This bond, traditionally reserves those who oppose us, can unite us ways we formerly thought impossible.
You intend to use unions, reserved for the light, against our foes?
Asked Draken.
It's a waste of time. Friendship only bogs you down. The only person you can rely on is yourself. Trusting in another means you don't believe in your own capability.
At that, the trio grew silent. Truthfully, they didn't have much in common besides an end goal, Kingdom Hearts, the portal to a world where they'd obtain power beyond power. It'd grant Zemmis his emotions, the power to dominate the world under the mighty iron fist of Lord Draken. Even Nanan's dreams would come true. But until then, what did they have? What drove them to become companions? What did they have in common? Nothing.
It was meant to be a kind gesture, to show my appreciation for what we have done thus far,
said Zemnis.
If you care not for it, then we can move on to business.
Draken grumbled a few words about regrets and solitude, then ate his popsicle in one bite to get it over with. I take it you found another key? Asked Nanan. She didn't finish her treat right away. She savored its flavor, enough to stain her lips blue. In response, her boss set aside his own treat and extended his arms outward. He curled his hands together in front of the sun, creating the shape of a heart with his fingers.
Soon we shall have it. Soon we will be in our grasp. I have located the most important key thus far, the one who molds dominion over darkness.
And where is it? Somewhere easy, I hope.
Sadly, that is not the case. The man who holds what we seek is an individual mired in mythos, a human who only exists in the world of make-believe, yet we must take it from him nonetheless.
Ooh, a fairy tale man. What are you gonna do? Ask Santa to bundle up your darkness in a little bow and hand it over nicely?
Why, that's an excellent idea.
Said Zemnis. Oh my fucking god, if Santa Power Ranger shows up, I'm gonna get.
Right. I was right all along.
I hate.
I was right about the army. I was right about Santa.
Well, I told you the army happens.
Oh, right. Never mind. I take
But
that back.
you did predict Santa.
I knew it.
The act will not be here, I swear.
I have the foresight.
1 second, they were in a sunlit town with a lovely atmosphere. The next, Zemnis sent them to an Arctic town. No, this is happening. Why is this happening?
Power Ranger Santa.
Oh my god.
Knew it. I was right.
No. The next, Zemnis sent them to an Arctic tundra. Nanan didn't adequately prepare for such an event. She only wore her standard conductor uniform, which barely provided any protection from the harsh environment. Her raging blizzard surrounded her. Each pelt of snow that touched her skin felt like it drained her life away. She needed warmth. She needed shelter,
Do not worry,
said Zemnis.
our destination is incredibly close.
She strained her eyes to see through the snow, and her prayers were answered. A giant red house connected to a factory only a few feet away. She dragged her feet without boots. Traversing this terrain proved difficult. She passed by a sign that read North Pole ahead, did a double take, and while distracted ran into a candy cane that towered over her. Why? She fell backwards into a pile of snow. Her entire attire turned white as it was absolutely polluted with the substance from hell. Nanan's new least favorite season was winter. She stood up, looked at the house with the giant candy, and gasped. A simple nameplate hung above the door. Santa's workshop. I was kidding, she said.
Really?
Said Zemnis.
Because the one who holds this key we need is Santa himself.
Oh my god.
I can't believe I called it.
Okay, but is it Power Ranger Santa or Nightmare Before Christmas Santa?
Depends on how
You can
powerful
read
you
Read it, it's right there.
Yeah, it says down the line. Don't worry, let's just keep reading.
Why are you reading ahead?
Because I have to find my lines.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just winging it.
Nanan threw open the door. It had to be a sham. Santa? Real? He's a children's tale. Someone you tell kids exist so you can hide all the presents you bought. The mere idea of his existence was preposterous. And yet, sitting in a large, comfortable chair surrounded by tiny elves, reading a list and checking it twice, a 7-foot-tall skeleton, adorned in a fluffy red coat, red hat, and long white beard, waved at her once she set foot inside.
It's me, Sandy Claus!
It was neither.
Said the skeleton. Santa was real, and he was dead. She screamed.
Ah!
The skeleton screamed. The skeleton on her hat screamed. Her companion seemed uninterested in aiding her. Draken and Zenmus stood behind her, entering the room without any expression on their faces.
Honestly, not knowing of this place only proves how much of an oaf you are.
Said Draken. Oh, don't act like you're best buddies with zombie Santa over there, said Nanan. The skeleton composed himself and squinted at the trio. His bones turned a shade of pink, some approximation of a blush, she guessed.
Well, to confess, I'm actually Jack Skellington. Maybe you've heard of me. I'm only wearing this queer outfit because I'm assistant to Sandy Claus. The real one is right here.
Emerging from the workshop door stood a man in immaculately designed clothes. His uniform didn't resemble any semblance of what they believed Santa looked like. The coat around his body wasn't the same one that brought about holiday cheer. This man wore a lab coat, decorated red with fluffy wool attached to the end. Little reindeer adorned his belt. A big Santa in gold letters as the buckle. His pants were striking green, a pattern of little Christmas trees and gingerbread cookies on the legs. His shoes were tipped and looked more fitting for a cowboy. He didn't keep his hat, but his face beamed like the sun, as he had a literal replica sun as his face. In some sense of the word, his outfit could be considered fashionable.
The name's Mayu Karotsuchi, though you may call me the greatest Santa who has ever lived.
Hold it.
Said Draken.
You aren't Santa. Neither of you fucks are.
Then explain the introduction.
The Rangers have worked with Santa to save Christmas before.
God, they actually
The real one's
referenced it.
much pudgier than you and wears less garish attire.
Allow me to explain.
Said Jack.
Santa really wanted a vacation, a nice trip on the beach with the wife. No kids to bother them, but he needed a new Santa to take his place. At first he thought of me, but then he found a guy who knew a guy who talked to a guy who met Dr. Frankenstein, who recommended Mayuri as the perfect fit. Dr. Finkelstein and I went to the same college.
Said Mayuri. Mayuri paced around the room. He looked at cookbooks that lined the shelves, dusted off the cabinets that needed cleaning, and all in all completely ignored the three guests in the room. Finally, he found what he desired, a massive list of names. Nan took a quick glance, and it was exactly as she imagined. Millions of people sorted into columns of naughty and nice. Nanan knew herself to be a naughty, naughty girl, so she didn't expect any presents this year, even if she really wanted some. But she had to pry further into this nonsense. Santa isn't real, even if someone claiming to be him stood right in front of her. It was an act she'd dismantle. So, greatest Santa? Asked Nanan. How do you come up with that title? He stopped for a moment and looked in her direction. Somewhat. More accurately, one eye remained trained on the list in his hand, the other flittered about like a lizard. It darted in her direction and stared deep into her soul as he focused on two tasks at once.
What you call Christmas is nothing more than dopamine receptors intertwined with nostalgic memories of childhood,
said Mayuri.
I'm currently pumping a chemical concoction through the vents of this facility to activate those same feelings in those that enter, ensuring Christmas never ends.
What?
What? Who says that?
Pretty sure it's not on.
What has been muttered? You can continue.
What? Christmas is a science, dear child. It is a holiday designed to bring happiness, and happiness can be easily understood. Hence, I am the perfect fit for this job, as I am an astounding scientist.
Nanan jabbed a finger in his direction. She grew sick of all of this. First, it was holiday cheer. That was some mumbo-jumbo she didn't pay attention to in school. All right, Buster, prove it then, said Nanan. If you're actually Santa, then what present do we want? We've been here for less than 5 minutes. There's no way you'd know. And the real Santa, he'd have to know. Not that Santa's real or anything. Duh. With a slight chuckle, Mayuri unfolded the list further. She didn't think paper went on that long, but it unfurled past her expectations. It rolled past her feet, past Draken, out the door, and far, far into the snowy wasteland outside.
Let's see. Ah, yes. You are Nanan Jakazure, correct? That is Tommy Oliver? Maybe not. Someone who resembles him at the very least. Close enough. And that is Zemnis. Yes, I have the present reserved for you three all prepared.
Really? Asked Nanan. If she got this over with instantly and went home, she'd have time to catch some TV before bed.
Yes. All of you are on the extra naughty do not ever gift list. Call for the lot of you. Now leave my sight at once.
She pouted like a small child. Tears welled up in her eyes. She knew she was bad. She broke a girl's arm in 2nd grade for saying her hair looks dumb. She broke a boy's nose in middle school for catcalling her. She tortured hundreds of innocent students in her band camp trial for not making the cut. She even stole a pack of gum once. But she was a girl. She wanted a toy. Even something simple like a new purple teddy bear would suffice. Luckily, Xemnas stepped forward to negotiate. His lack of emotions meant he'd be able to negotiate without getting so mad he'd rip Santa's head off. Not that she wanted him to do that,
Pardon me,
said Xemnas.
but I believe you have something of mine.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Said Mayuri.
Don't be shy. It only has to do with your artificial heart program, the basis that is rightfully mine.
Mayuri scowled, grimaced. His face muscles contorted in so many directions it became impossible to discern how he felt.
I take you're speaking of this.
Mayuri opened a drawer and pushed a button inside. In an instant, one of the walls opened. Mechanical arms tore apart the wallpaper and unscrewed a panel to reveal a living heart. It shone a malicious purple. Darkness seeped out of its veins. Whoever wielded this heart, they were a being of pure malice, one who controlled darkness as easily as they breathed it.
That is a shard of Xehanort's heart,
Said Xemnas.
and thus it is also my heart.
Gee, Santa, you kept someone's heart in your workshop?
Asked Jack.
Don't you think that's a bit morbid? Yes,
Mayuri paused.
and... I like it! It adds a nice festive spook to the place. You know, if you want any more creepy ideas. Of course, I shall keep you in my thoughts.
Mayuri brushed him off and then turned to Xemnas.
So, you are all aware I am undergoing trials to create an artificial heart using Xehanort's heart as a base. What of it?
Since I believe that the heart to be rightfully mine, why don't we fight for it?
Asked Xemnas. Those words caught the rest of the people in the room off guard. Nanan gripped her baton. Draken thumbed the hilt of his blade. Even Jack eyed a yo-yo hanging inside a stocking on the wall.
And what's in it for me?
Asked Mayuri.
You like running experiments, do you not? I offer up the three of us as test subjects for anything you desire, should we lose.
Nanan's blood ran cold. She remembered Hades' words. Xemnas was an individual who sacrificed his subordinates. That's what a villain did. He spoke earlier of those who ate ice cream while watching the sun set. Who were they? Where did they go? Why did they no longer work for him? And on that note, how did Xemnas even know of the heart's location in the first place? There were no signs pointing to it. He never alluded to having some kind of power that allowed him to find it. The same with the other keys they were looking for. He always just knew their exact location, where to find them, as if he knew it all in advance. The Xemnas she thought she knew and the Xemnas she currently knew almost felt like two entirely different individuals. Even if it meant she'd put her life at risk, she'd stick by his side. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe she'd find herself bleeding out in a ditch one day because of her misguided efforts. Or maybe she'd succeed and have all the riches she desired in the world because of a gut feeling.
I am not going to be part of some deranged skirmish,
Said Draken.
Oh, and here I thought the mighty Lord Draken stood up to any challenge.
Said Xemnas.
Unless you truly aren't as powerful as you claim.
It was an empty goad meant to motivate him through fury. Even Nanan knew that. Only an idiot would fall for such a fake threat.
Is that what you think? Fine then. Allow me to demonstrate exactly why you shouldn't underestimate me.
Oh my god, he fell for the fake threat.
A heartless with the power to...
This is
With-
Will. It's the other dude. It's Mayuri.
What? A heartless with the power of a light, one of the strongest nobodies around, and a human? No, not quite. Something else. Yes, you will all make excellent subjects. I'll give you all 18-hour shifts and 2 entire meals a day. This is a good deal, no?
So you agree to the terms?
Of course. Now come. Let us fight to see if you truly belonged on the nice list, or if you'll be naughty for all eternity. You shall take the trials of Christmas and science!
Excellent.
Oh my god.
Point out the narrator broke character.
Shut up.
Don't worry about the narrator.
I have to pee so bad.
Yeah, me too.
Do what must be done. Not on stream, please. Free. All right, so we're almost about to start chapter. I can't read. What are numbers?
Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Mickey at Order 3.
Chapter 10, Chapter 2. Mickey got
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Chapter 1.
Chapter 10.
Oh, okay.
10, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. My brain kind of turned off.
But the thing also starts in 20 minutes.
Eh?
We said we get this far, if not a little bit further.
We'll get further.
But-
It shall
but-
continue. Where are
I can hear you dying.
I'm not dying. I'm fine. 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 It's all okay. F-I-N-E, fine. Like that thing you get when you're speeding. I'm fine. Fine.
What?
I
How long was my mic muted?
I don't know. What'd you say?
I don't know. I was like running up and down the
sorry.
stairs.
I was getting water too.
okay.
Yeah, sorry, I could hear you through my headphones.
Alright.
All right, you guys ready for Chapter 10, Chapter 2, Mickey Got Norded, Part 3.
Hold on!
No.
I am ready. Oh, son of a bitch.
For chapter...
Mickey still hasn't gotten Norded. There's like an entire fight that's gonna happen. When does Mickey get Norded?
He's gonna get Norded, okay?
He's gonna get Norded in part 4. God.
Chapter 10, Chapter 2, Mickey Got Norded, Part 3.
Uh,
Are we ready?
No.
I'm ready, I think.
The trio...
Oh my god, I just read ahead. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Oh my god.
Don't
Don't
read ahead. Don't read ahead.
I'm voicing everything in today. Wait, okay, never mind.
Hold on, Control F.
Who's
Man.
Who's voicing Lion-O?
I am.
Pretty sure that's Mel.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Chapter 10, Chapter 2, Mickey Got Norded, Part 3. Can we start now?
Yes.
The trio walked outside in the freezing cold, chasing after Mayuri. He ran outside in a stupor. Pure excitement filled his body as he led them to the outside of his factory, where a bright red curtain surrounded a steel cage. Something or someone growled underneath it.
Behold the creation you shall face!
Mayuri pulled back the curtain to reveal a horrifying monstrosity. A man, at least it resembled one, only appeared to be a cat as well. He was well built, defined as any warrior should be, but no matter where he looked, utter disgust filled Draken's body. Whiskers, a mane instead of hair, a pelt instead of flesh, even held a blade for some reason, as if it were not enough for him to be an abomination. He was an abomination trained to fight.
An organic life form injected with a genetic code of a lion. I call him Lion-O!
Greetings, kind strangers.
That's not.
No, just keep going, keep going.
What is Lion?
No,
Greetings, kind
don't let-
strangers.
He just sounds
Just
like
think of a
He-Man,
cat.
but furry.
Greetings,
Think
kind
not-
strangers.
He doesn't
Greetings.
have an accent.
I like the other one better.
No.
The other one's, more
He's
unique.
just a Khajiit.
Yeah,
Just
he's
a
just
really
a Khajiit, just do
masculine
that.
Khajiit, yeah.
Greetings, kind strangers, said Lion-O. I hope we can have a fair competition in today's outing, though I must admit I don't intend to hold back.
You are not even worthy. Oh, fuck. You're not even worth displaying on a mantle.
Ha ha, well said. I take it you are my opponent? Lionel extended a hand to shake, which Draken took begrudgingly. He exerted his maximum strength, TM, to crush the feline's hand in his grip. Except it did nothing. He didn't even flinch at the gesture. Instead, Lionel met the shake with his own firm grip. Draken felt his bones grind against each other. What kind of inhumane strength did he possess? Oh, so this is how the humans do it. Like it.
Please focus on the task at hand, or I shall put you back in your cell,
said Mayuri. All right, if you insist, said Lino. We will be using the sableflange today. What is the sableflange? Will we be using the sableflange today?
I think it's a sword.
Oh, okay.
It's some kind of, like, medieval weapon of
Will we
bullshit.
be using the outdated weapon today?
Not today! Instead, you'll be having this, a Christmas special!
Oh, dear God, no! With a snap of his fingers, Els came from out of the workshop, producing a plate of milk and cookies. His eyes lit up like a child as he quickly let go for a treat. He devoured for the milk. He treated it more delicately, lapping it up in small licks with his tongue.
No.
I feel exceedingly refreshed today. Why, I can feel as if I can do anything. To demonstrate, Lionel picked up the very elves who handed him his meal and juggled them. He threw one in the air, then caught them and sent another soaring into the sky until they reached the scars and grasped them by the collar before they landed. Draken intended to grab one of those tiny creatures and throw them to the moon with no intention of helping them land. Sadly, Mayuri continued talking.
The two of you have a very simple task at hand.
Mayuri held up two intricately wrapped boxes, presents small enough to hold in one hand.
You are to deliver this present to the very first house in Halloween Town. You will know where to go, and it isn't very densely populated.
And what is the purpose of this?
Asked Draken.
Why, if the present is delivered by your team, I suppose you may actually be quite nice in the long run. But if my experiment accomplishes this before you, you will remain on the naughty list for all eternity.
Both contestants grabbed their presents and looked ahead. Truthfully, Draken had no clue where to even travel. Hopefully the solution was going to be straightforward as fast as possible. He got into a runner stance, prepared to dash faster than any Olympian. Thunder, thunder, Thundercats! Oh! His opponent made the first move. Lionel raised his sword into the air, recited his chant, and with a single jump, exploded. Guts and viscaria didn't spread across the snow. It didn't even stain red. The Lion Man laughed as he flew through the air, unharmed. Every few seconds, the sound of another explosion resounded in everyone's ears. Lionel flew faster and faster, propelled through the sky by the kinetic energy of his own body rapidly destroying itself.
What?
He's using the force of his own explosions to propel him like a fucking spaceship.
What the
No,
heck is
it's
that?
just the sword.
What the heck is that? Asked Nanan.
Oh, that?
Asked Mayuri.
It's another little invention of mine. The Christmas special.
This is still you.
The milk? I was waiting for it to, like, a line break, but there was none. The Christmas special. The milk? It contained a super virus that metabolizes in the blood, instantly attacking your veins and forming clots all throughout your body. The process will kill you in less than 5 minutes.
I find myself asking the purpose of such foolish actions.
Said Draken.
Ah, but the cookies.
Said Mayuri.
The cookies are where it all ties together. You see, the cookies altered his immune system. Each chocolate chip sent a new code into his body. His antibodies multiplied rapidly, traveled even faster than the speed of light, and turned into bombs. Each time a clot forms in the body, it is instantly eradicated. The force of which propels him through the sky as an explosive equivalent of 1 megajoule is set off inside him at rapid intervals.
Such a process not force a man to perish due to his own body.
asked Xemnas.
Not at all. I've ensured the healing factor inside of his body can take enough punishment to survive certain lethal injuries. Though this is part of the experiment. Which shall last longer? The virus, his immune system, his healing factor? Or maybe he'll be taken out in flight. I can't wait to find out.
10, 20, 30 miles, Lionel flew through the skies, steered by sheer insanity. You might want to move if you don't want to lose, said Nanan. Draken grunted. This entire scenario displeased him. In a test of strength or speed, he was unmatched. Not even the gods had the power to stand up to him. But this, petty tasks meant to gauge a nondescript talent, he found it all useless. The first issue became how to fly to match the lion. Using the power of a princess? He knew of no princesses who flew, not without outside aid. If he combined his power with the blade of the gods and transformed it into some kind of helicopter blade, then he may be able to attain flight in that manner. But he'd never match the speed of the combusting lion that way. Oh, God.
Come on, you can do it.
Asked Nanan for help.
So confused.
Truthfully, this didn't seem like a terrible option. With the aid of her band members, they may be able to create some kind of flying machine that allow him to soar through the air at Mach speeds. This came with the caveat of asking Nanan for help. He'd rather lop off his own head than have her gain some sort of smug satisfaction over being needed. The answer came in the form of a reindeer, little peculiar animals attached to a sleigh sitting only a few feet away from the workshop. One even had a red nose that illuminated his path through the night sky.
Oh my fucking
I'll be taking this.
Draken pushed aside his companions and leapt into the sleigh. His hands grasped the reins and whipped with all his might, commanding the animals to take him into the air. Instead, they melted into a pile of sludge and bones.
About that.
Said Mayuri.
I fed those reindeer a special diet as well. Their stomach acid is set to expand and envelop their body if anyone aside from me attempts to command them. A simple modification in the cerebral cortex made that possible.
Draken grunted
Oh my
again.
fucking god!
Come on.
Oh my god. Draken grunted again. Infuriations upon infuriations stacked up against him. He had half a mind to suck down his pride and go to Nanan when a thought struck him. If the princess power kept him alive no matter what injury befell him, could it do the same to others? He pointed his blade in the direction of the deceased animals. A rainbow beam shot out. All the kindness and good feelings involved with protective magic entered the pile of bones and brought them to life. In some sense of the word, Mayuri's science proved a bit too effective. The minute their stomachs reformed, the animals melted once more, only to be brought back to life by Draken's princess magic.
Oh my god!
Come on. There's more. It gets worse.
Oh no. Give me a sec. To avoid the needless suffering of the animals, he lowered his magical output. Instead of regenerating them in their entirety, he placed their souls in their bones. Skeletons of reindeer sufficed as substitutes for the real thing.
Onwards, my trusty noble steeds.
He whipped the skeletons into shape. Their bones rattled, creating a noise that somewhat constituted as a whinny. And they took off. Their magic filled their legs, allowing them to run on the air itself. Even while supporting the weight of a human and his cargo, they showed no signs of struggling. Xemnas, Mayuri, and the annoying girl Nanan all became ants as he ascended high into the sky. Through sheer force of will, he commanded the skeletons to fly faster, and they did. With each passing moment, he drew closer to Lion-O, despite his method of travel. For a brief moment, he felt joy, the thrill of the hunt. He'd strike down this accursed feline in the air and ensure only he remained in the competition. That joy ended when he heard a familiar voice. "I'm proud of you, Tommy!" said his inner princess. I knew you had the capacity to do good,
I did no such thing.
he said. You prevented those animals from suffering. You healed another being instead of yourself. Those are signs you don't want to only cause pain and torment. He hated it. He hated that he had to chase a cat flying through the sky instead of ruling over his people. He hated that infernal voice with her ill-timed comments that had no counter against it. Kingdom Hearts better be worth it. God, this is a lot.
Come on, we can get going.
Told you to stop.
One problem quickly presented itself as Draken raced Lion-O through the sky.
Slow yourself so I may strike you down.
Screamed Draken. Lion-O withdrew a cloth at some point from his person, using it to aim himself through the sky like a wing glider. Ha ha! He said. I can't! And then he exploded again and gained another 50 feet on him. Lord Draken changed his blade into a whip in a paltry attempt to pull him out of the sky. With each crack, his opponent inched further and further away. Try as he might, he knew it to be impossible to outrun him or strike him down early. His only option was to wait. When an opportunity presented itself, he'd go in for the kill. There'd be a slim margin. Even now, his analytical mind went to work. He counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom! Every 5 seconds, another explosion rocked his body. Exactly that time frame, blood flowed at a rate of 3 to 4 times miles per hour. And roughly that time of frame, at that speed, the blood completed a rotation around, oh my god, around his body. Clots were forming and being destroyed at a rate of 5 seconds. He needed to work in that time frame. Below him, the scenery changed. In his world, holidays were represented as towns. The snow faded and fireworks went off in his face as he traveled into New Year's. He held back his vomit as the hearts flew into his sleigh. Ugh, Valentine's Day. Lion-O certainly didn't notice the changing scenery. He appeared too preoccupied with not dying as he crashed through clouds and flocks of birds trying to escape from Thanksgiving. 1, 2, 3. Draken aimed where Lion-O would be instead of where he was. He threw one of his twin daggers out, intending to skewer his throat. At the count of 5, Lion-O blasted forward, but his aim went off slightly. Air resistance, velocity, travel speed, predictions, to do all of it on the fly was not easy. His blade sliced through Lion-O's cloth, sending him hurtling to the planet below. That was effective enough. Only he unintentionally helped his foe. Directly underneath him, the aforementioned Halloween town existed, shining brightly, decorated with bright Christmas lights that anyone from space could see. He found the house he needed to deliver the present to. He made a beeline for the ground, directing the animals to drive straight into the dirt at full speed. The skeletons shattered on impact. The sleigh crushed, the wood holding it together broke apart into an unusable state. That'd show his headmate for praising him. Lion-O composed himself, held his breath, and knocked on the door of the house. He had the present. He'd win the competition if something wasn't done. Draken elected to trust his own strength. From so far away, there was only one way to take him out. His warblade from the gods extended hundreds of meters. His magic cursed through its steel to mold its shape as he pleased. Lion-O, too distracted by delivering the present, didn't fight back. It stabbed through his hand, sliced right through its flesh, and pinned him in place to the wall. Mere inches away from the delivery target, he was unable to move as he was effectively skewered into the very house he sought out. He exploded. It didn't save him from his predicament. Using the ample time he created for himself, running with all his might, Draken arrived. He ignored the chimney. He hated these theatrics in the first place. With a swift kick, he broke down the door. He extended the present inside.
Merry Christmas,
he said begrudgingly. And then he hated himself even more when he saw who was inside.
Merry Christmas!
said Jack Skellington. He saw him only a few minutes ago. Santa's sleigh is supposed to be fast enough to visit every child on a single night. Overall, the skirmish only took several minutes. What was the meaning of this?
Speak. How do you travel so quickly, skeleton? Or I shall ensure you fertilize a great many plants.
You need to come up with better threats than that if you want to intimidate the King of Scares!
Jack's face contorted into a frown. His jagged teeth accentuated how displeased he felt.
If you really want to know, I use the tree!
The tree? Draken turned around, only to see Zenmus, Nanan, and Mayuri standing nearby.
Oh, hey, turns out there was a shortcut, said Nanan. A tree that takes you straight from the North Pole to about a brisk walk away. Bet it would have been nice to learn that before doing all that work, huh?
He'd slaughter everyone in this god-forsaken world. Only then would he be able to quell all the rage he felt at this exact moment. Mayuri pried the blade loose from Lionel's palms and threw it back at Draken. A deep, seething resentment filled his face, made immediately clear when he smacked Lionel across the face.
You worthless creation! Can you not perform one simple task?
No one made a single move to stop him, least of all Lionel. Expelling all of his rage, he kicked him in the shin, stumped on his foot until blood leaked out, and healed again. Mayuri sucked his teeth. He couldn't kill him if he wanted to. He'd used too many high-quality parts. "Ha ha! Can I get the antidote to stop exploding now?" said Lionel.
I'll do it later!
Said Mayuri.
Head back to the workshop for some more fine-tuning.
"Okay, boss, whatever you say!" Lionel had already exploded once more, back in the direction he came from, never to be seen again.
Jack, can you return as well? Make sure he doesn't ruin the place. Right on, Mr. Claus, sir!
Jack crouched down and jumped into the air. His legs seemed to elongate with each crouch hop, but it effectively got him where he needed to go.
Now then, it's time for the final trial!
Said Mayuri. Mayuri opened up a random shed to produce his next experiment. A hulking man, oh my god. A hulking man taller than even Jack, with a permanent scowl etched into his expression. His muscles had muscles. He didn't wear a shirt, only battle armor on one arm, so his expertly defined body was on display for all to witness. Most shocking of all, his skin color was green. This man truly exemplified the definition of mad scientist experiment.
Why does he look like that?
Asked Draken.
Now this is my finest work so far. I call him the Incredible Hulk. Witness a man who is now immune to all forms of radiation. A being who is empowered by it.
And how did you accomplish such a difficult prospect?
Asked Semnis.
It's simple. First, I created a mass of artificial humans and exposed them to a lethal dose of radiation. When they all died, I created a second batch, and a third, until finally one survived. I used his genes to create more humans, repeating the process over and over. Eventually, I was pumping these humans with obscene amounts, enough to fuel power plants for decades. And this is the result.
What's the points? Asked Nanan.
To see if I could, of course. Science does not ask why, it asks how. How do we solve this problem? How do we accomplish this task?
All right, fine, said Nanan. How is this a productive use of time?
Well, now I'm in possession of a man immune to gamma radiation,
said Mayuri. Nanan waited for him to elaborate more. He didn't.
Hulk, bored.
Said Hulk.
Then let's get on with this competition. This one is quite simple. You shall return 10 games of rock, paper, scissors. If you can win even a single match, then my side will concede.
That's it? Asked Nanan.
Hulk boasts a supercomputer for a mind. To take even a single victory proves my analysis still needs to be improved.
That'd be easy. Rock, paper, scissors was a game where you had a 1 in 3 chance of winning and a 1 in 3 chance of tying. Looking at it that way, over 10 games, that's practically a guarantee you'll win one set as long as you play randomly and don't think too hard. Everyone took a step back to provide ample space for Nanan and her opponent. The Hulk flexed his muscles, prepared to crush the puny girl in front of him. The puny girl in front of him flexed her brain because she wasn't a brute. "Paper!" she yelled out. A gust of wind from nowhere blew her hat off.
Did the weather turn on her? Cast her away into the world of a bad hair day? No. It came from the Hulk. The sheer force and speed of his play created a shockwave.
Is the Hulk saying this or Maori?
This is the Hulk.
All right. Hulk played scissors,
He said. True to his word, he did. All right, one game and it's a loss. No big deal. Nanan flexed her arms this time because the arms were where you played these games, so it meant you'd better play with bigger arms. Rock!
Hulk played paper,
Scissors.
Hulk played rock,
Paper again.
Hulk played scissors,
Paper number 3.
Hulk played scissors.
She sucked her teeth. Her random plays were getting her nowhere.
She's never going to win like that.
Said Maori.
Oh shit. Is that not a game of chance?
Asked Draken.
In some circumstances. However, there are plays you can make to outwit your opponent. The key factor is that she's playing too straightforward, which Hulk perfectly counters. I may have lied a bit when I said his brain is a supercomputer. That is true, but it's not why he can counter all of her moves.
Is there an outside force at play here?
Why, yes! Hulk's blood, while filled with gamma radiation, is also magnetic! He can manipulate the iron in that woman's blood, manipulating her into playing whichever hand he so desires without her realizing it. She may think she's choosing of her own accord, since she's playing randomly, but the game's been rigged from the start. The shape of her hand has been predetermined. Countering from that point is easy.
Nanan didn't hear a word of that, but she was smart enough to know that random playing got her nowhere.
Ladies, assemble.
Out of her pocket, she pulled a whistle. When blown, her band came together. From the gravestones out of tree stumps descending from the sky, 6 dozen same-faced women wrapped in the attire of a mummy shambled up to Nanan. They dressed thematically for the world.
Blind him.
They scurried like curious kittens. Each one formed a miniature ladder as they crawled up his back. They clawed at his skin, wrestling to climb the Titan. Hawk's arms were too big. Those muscles couldn't reach his back, no matter how far he stretched his shoulders.
Hulk dissatisfied with this treatment,
He said. The band jumped on his head and used their small gremlin arms to shield his eyes, preventing him from seeing Nanan's next move. If he didn't know, then he had no way to counter. Take that, supercomputer brain!
All right, here comes my next play.
She twirled her arm around as if she was going to deliver a grand pitch at a baseball stadium. Scissor never fails. Her hand flew out. She mustered all of her strength and threw out a rock. She barely comprehended what she did before another shockwave launched all the girls off of Hawk, and he played paper in retaliation.
Hulk not need cheating friends to win,
He said.
Hulk because Hulk has no friends. Hulk is strongest there is, all by himself!
That's it! She stomped her foot, irate with this nonsense of this battle. She was losing a children's game because her own stupid body disobeyed her.
Fire at will,
she shouted. The girls recomposed themselves and saluted before scurrying off. They didn't return immediately. There was no rule against taking long breaks in between rounds. 10 minutes they stood, watching each other as the moonlight shone upon them, permanently etched in this moment in time. They returned carrying their weapon, a massive, hypersonic missile shaped like a flute. 30 women were holding up the missile. The rest held their own flutes. They played in harmony. A sharp E-note pierced their ears as the weapon fired. At Mach 1, it'd be hard to avoid such a blow at this distance, which meant Hulk only had one option. He clenched his fist and outstretched it. He'd punched this puny weapon out of the air. The resulting explosion created a dust cloud that could be seen from outer space. Its impact had been diverted, but the sheer ferocity of the smoke stream generated by it left everyone in awe. When the smoke cleared, the Hawk stood firm. His massive fist destroyed the missile and shattered it to smithereens, and a single tiny hand held that fist aloft, as if it was the lightest thing in the world.
paper.
Said Nanan. She tricked him into playing rock, granting her the singular win she needed.
Fucking galaxy brain!
$5 billion IQ move.
god!
Oh, that hurt my throat. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
What? Are we gonna keep going on or just...
No.
I can keep going.
Well, we want to, yeah. Maybe it's time to stop.
Yes.
We've been
yeah,
at this
it's
for
fucking
almost 4
late.
hours.